Hello, everyone. We are here, me and DTM, and we are here to determine the most toxic hero to ever be released in Fire Emblem Heroes. How is it going, DTM? Are you prepared?
I'm prepared for the salt. I'm prepared for the toxicity. It's going to be super fun because I'm sure we have a great roster too.
Right. Oh man.
These categories, though, that I didn't see this before.
Hi, Jim. What unit inspired this stream? It was, I don't even know if it was Elm. We were just talking about bad things in Fire Emblem Heroes, and I just thought of it. I was like, oh my gosh, this would be a perfect idea for a stream.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'd be pretty fun. So I guess before we start, we'll give everybody some time to get in here, so that way the votes kind of are a little more balanced. But we can look at the roster. You can't see everyone, I guess, because of the way I framed it. But you can see we got Legendary Azura, the new Camilla, Bridal Catria. I wasn't gonna actually put Bridal Catria on this list, but I saw like 5 people mention her. Like I was like, oh, I guess I kind of have to put her on here. So we'll see. We're gonna see a judgment on Bridal Catria. What are you thinking about her?
I mean, like Bridal Catria was like the unit, but I don't know if it like was toxic or it's just like, you know,
right.
She was required basically for E3's defense, but yeah. I guess it'll be interesting to see what chat thinks.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think it's a very interesting one. We got like mostly all the emblems except for Myrrh are here.
Or Myrrh.
Yeah. We got Chrom, we got Brave Eirika. I think this was gonna be interesting to see if people can remember what Brave Eirika was like before like cancel control.
I
do you remember?
Genuinely do not remember actually.
No? She kind of existed in that the Yuri meta. Remember the Yuri meta, like at the beginning of SD?
I remember using her in like the very beginnings of some of those duels, but yeah, I guess after cancel control, she just like left.
right, yeah, definitely. Ophelia, I didn't put Ophelia on here. I don't feel like she was toxic. I think she was strong, but I don't know if I'd consider her toxic. Yeah, we got Elimine, we got Elm, Embla. I was thinking of putting both Emblas, but I just put Mythic for now. We could maybe add Bridal if people want that. Fallen Edelgard, Brave Felix. You can't see Freyr, but Freyr and Brave Hector are over here. And then we got Mythic Heidr, Emblem Ike, Larry the Tree Man, Duo Lith, Lucia, 3 Lyns, which is kind of crazy because I didn't really think about Lyn when I thought of like toxic heroes. But when I was going through the list, I was kind of like, oh yeah, they kind of are.
That's why Lucina's best girl and should have won CYL instead of her. Just saying.
She'd have a preference skill. That's true. Duo Lyon, Marnie, Brown Micaiah, Nurgal. Both the snakes are here. They're kind of hard to see. Nott is down here as well. And then we have the OG Reinhardt, Rhea, Sakura, Duo Sather, Seliph, both the Sigurds, Surtur, Thrasir, Brave Veronica, and Yunaka. So we have quite the lineup here. And we'll be going through each unit one by one. The way this is going to work is everybody will vote A through D tier. The top 3 at the end will get put into the radioactive top historically most toxic units ever layer. And the bottom 2 will actually go into innocent. So if you think these units are not toxic and you want to kind of like propaganda to get them off this list, that is your option right there.
Yep. It's your time to shine.
And welcome everybody in. I see everybody starting to come in. Is Legendary Eirika toxic? I don't really think so, but I can see somebody saying that.
I think she's really good. I wouldn't say toxic though. Like, yeah, she's just really good nuke.
Right.
That's melee.
Legendary Male Robin. I don't think Legendary Male Robin is toxic. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think he would be classified as toxic. I mean, we did have like the Unity meta, but. I don't know. I wouldn't consider that toxic, really.
Hi, everybody. How I welcome everybody in. We're just gonna give a few more minutes. Give everybody like maybe like 2 more minutes before we get started. But I think it's gonna be interesting to not only do this, but also get to talk about some of these older units and like how they like played back then. I think that would be a lot of fun too.
I could learn what the horrors were like back then, like the horrors of year 2 Surtur.
Right. Okay, so just to be clear, because I see some people bring this up, we're not talking about like just powerful units. We're talking about toxic units, right? Like there's a lot of powerful units that were really good, but weren't necessarily toxic, right? They had like counterplay or like there was ways to get around them or to even play into it. So I think I think Bridal Catria is probably gonna be my example. I'll bring up later on, but I think that would be something interesting to talk about. Close counter advantage Takumi. I mean, Takumi was good for like I think people kind of overstate how good Takumi was. Like he was very good for that first month, and then he fell off pretty hard.
Yeah.
As
soon as they released skill inheritance, he was gone.
Exactly. And he even inside that 1 month meta, like base male Robin actually like was his counter. So there was actually counterplay to him as well. That's why
Interesting.
Robin was actually the first unit I ever promoted to 5 stars because I wanted to deal with Takumi.
Oh wow. We're getting the lore here.
Okay. So we'll get started now. The way this works, we'll do some votes. We're going to be starting off with our very first unit, Legendary Alm. So we're going to put him in. We're not putting him in B. We're just putting him up to vote. Maybe I should. I don't know if I could put. I'll put him on the bottom. That way, it doesn't look like anyone's voting for him. Okay. Let me make the poll. So it's going to be from A to D, depending on how toxic you think this unit is. Now, this is an interesting one for me because I love Legendary Alm personally. But I don't know. Were you playing when he was like at the top of the meta?
I think when I was playing, it was like 2020, right? So like we were still lingering. He was still lingering there, I guess. But I think his main thing sort of like died down, probably.
Yeah. So what made Alm so strong was that like he just hit so ridiculously hard that if he doubled you, he just killed you. Like that's how he was on release. Like you just couldn't tank this dude barely at all. Like a lot of people started building actually units who had colorless or advanced against colorless units to tank him. Like it was crazy how much it swapped. Yeah. And one of his best A skills was actually just sturdy impact. So that way he could just make sure that he had enough bulk to survive a counterattack. And then he would just kill you.
I see.
Yeah.
Dang.
So he was like,
Alm had hands back then.
Yeah, he was like one of the premier nukes like of the beginning of the game essentially. And he became so popular that people just started using him on E3's defense even when he wasn't in season.
Wow. I can't imagine Alm like that now.
Yeah.
But
okay. Hi, Sin. So we're gonna give it a little bit longer. I want to give everyone, I think about, I don't know, like maybe 2-ish minutes at most, depending on how polarizing the vote is. Right now it's down to between C and D. Let's see where he is.
I think it's about fair because like at the end of the day, he is just a very powerful nuke. He
did not introduce no follow-up Chronicos. He did not. That was actually male Corrin on that one weird banner I can't think of.
Adrift?
Yeah, Adrift. That was actually
yeah.
It's just the thing is that NFU on release was actually not a very good skill, and the reason why was because there wasn't really that many units who had guaranteed follow-ups or fault prevention. It was mostly just Legendary Hector and Wary Fighter. So like it wasn't that great. It was mostly just there like, oh, here's a way to deal with Hector if you're having a problem with him. And it really didn't come into prominence until much later.
Yeah, when we started seeing so many guaranteed or deny follow-up effects.
Exactly.
That's when, yeah.
Okay, wow. So we have Alm. We're gonna end the poll there. Kind of close between C and D, but actually like not as I don't know if it's like recency bias or people actually don't think he was that bad. So let's see. Okay.
So 3, 9, 40, 46.
Okay. So Alm is definitely in the common cold tier.
I mean, I wasn't there when he was at his peak, so I have no context on this. But yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, next up is Legendary Azura, and I'm really interested about this one too, because I think a lot of people, if they weren't around, don't remember Azura very well. The Legendary Azura on release was one of the most cracked units to ever exist. Like, she was so insanely powerful that the entire Aether meta kind of warped around her, because getting extra movement and +5 to all stats, which was not intended, it just kind of happened because they didn't want to change Azura,
right,
completely changed matchups, because you could totally lose a matchup by not getting a kill because they got like a defense buff, or you could lose a matchup because you didn't have enough speed to double anymore. And then also, you had to understand the AI to know who Azura was going to even dance. So, like, you're like, okay, I can win this matchup, but if Azura dances this unit, I lose the matchup. Or it might let that unit hit a unit in the back line. So, I'm interested to see if chat remembers this or not. Satan Incarnate, so Salted Snacks remembers. Okay.
I mean, like, even like we have to remember back then it was, I guess, a quote unquote more simpler time in phase. So like giving extra movement in and of itself was just extremely strong.
Yeah,
and so I can definitely see that being super annoying on Aether Raid's defense.
Mm-hmm. Like the like the Azura rally traps like that no one knew existed for the longest time. You know what I mean? Like rally traps were a very new thing for Summoner Duels, where people started to learn about all these AI that they just never had to deal with when Arena was the only game mode. Yeah,
right. Do we blame Infantry Pulse for that? For like popularizing it?
No, I don't think Infantry Pulse was making content back then. I don't think.
I see.
Yeah. It was
someone else did.
Yeah,
with the rally trap.
Right. Yeah, there's that. There's a lot of crazy stuff that happened in that time period. It's probably one of my favorite times, like in FEH. Okay,
because that was also before Isolation was really big. That was only like Bridal Form.
Bridal Form didn't even exist back then. So yeah, it was this is like the second month or third month of Summer or Aether Raids. Yeah.
Right.
We didn't get Bridal Form until the Bridal banner. Not even I think it was the second year, like almost the second year of Aether Raids, and then we got Mill after that. But yeah, when Fjorm came out, it was like, oh my god, we can finally stop these rally traps.
We don't have to look at AI anymore.
Well, we still had to, but it was less horrible as it was.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna end it there. This one's pretty close, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, we have 34, 39, 7, 19.
19. Okay. So Azura is gonna be in our three houses discourse level of toxicity. I think that's a pretty fair place. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
And we have one of our more recent units now. So we'll see how much recency bias affects these tiers. I think that's
no. Maybe it's going to be hard to determine what chat thinks actually.
Right. Because I think this is one of the more newer units, so I think the amount of experience we have this unit is much more limited compared to some of these other units on the tier list.
I mean, what are your thoughts on young Camilla?
I think young Camilla is toxic, but because of her combination with Sakura. Without Sakura, I think she's less toxic because you could cancel controller, right? And she only moves one space. And that we've dealt with that before, right? We've dealt with really powerful nukes who can explode once you get a hold of them. The problem is when Camilla can dive into your team and then get all the way back out, right? That's the real problem.
Right.
And then obviously she does offer a really high level of power that can be forced on your team really quickly, right? It's faster than Felix was even 6 months ago, which is a bit scary. Right. And there's no counterplay to like anti-warping, which there really wasn't all that much before until the November Mythic banner with Nidhogger and Larry. There's really just like Gatekeeper and Myrrh, right? But now having pass and being able to break that is a pretty powerful effect. But once again, powerful does not necessarily mean toxic.
Right. I personally don't think she herself is toxic per se. I think I agree with you. Is that it's like the combination of like what is currently good in this meta that is kind of resulting in that perception.
Right.
Yeah.
She didn't have pass. Yeah, I think I'm really afraid that we're just gonna get like a new pass unit every month. I don't know if that's gonna happen or not, but I am nervous of that.
Or we can get like pass Sacred Seal or pass Echo Skill.
See, what I think they'll do is they'll sell us a few more pass units, then do that. You know what I mean? They'll be like, oh, here's a bunch of really powerful pass units. And then once they see like, oh, it's not really doing as well as it was before, like sales wise, okay, we'll just put it on a unit. Like they'll give out pass as like a buff or something like that. Okay, we're gonna end the poll here. This is not even close, Camilla. So this might. I wonder how much of this is recency bias. It's really no way to say.
Recency bias.
Yeah. But if you're playing Summer Duels and getting terror, or even Aether Raids getting terrorized by Camilla, I could see why that would make your perception of that quite different.
So yeah, we have 65, 30, 0, 4.
Yeah, that's how you oof. Going all the way up into stage 4 cancer. That's crazy. Getting at it young. Okay, next up is Bridal Catria. I think this is going to be probably one of the most interesting conversations because Bridal Catria is, I would argue, and some people would probably argue with me, that Catria is historically the most powerful unit in the game. Like, in the sense that she's had the most impact, right? Not necessarily that if you take Bridal Catcher right now, she's the most powerful unit. But historically, over time, right, she's had the longest staying power. She offered the most powerful support for a very long time. She had archetypes built around her. She had summer duels built around her at one point, right? This is probably one of the most poignant arguments you could make against power versus toxicity and how much they're correlated.
Yeah, because like for me at least, like I don't really consider her toxic, even though like she has like a huge impact on every game. Like I felt that the types of teams she enables, they're all fairly like fair and like beatable,
right?
And not even that complex to deal with, in my opinion. So yeah, I wouldn't call her toxic,
right?
Like exactly. She required a brain to use. She, if you had a brain, you can fairly easily like predict where exactly the nukes are going to go and such. And
yeah, I agree. I don't really consider her a toxic unit, and it's because there are ways to play around her, right? Like triangle attack in particular takes 2 other units to activate, so you can kind of understand how they're going to do that. Like especially in summer duels. In Ether Raids, it's very obvious you're playing against a Catria ball. There's nothing hidden there at all. And because she kind of acted as an equaling tool for other nukes to be good, which I liked a lot too. So I don't really ever consider her as a toxic unit. A powerful unit, obviously. But toxic unit, I never really considered her that. Maybe, I think you could make the argument with Lyn, because that removes the requirements for the triangle attack, essentially. But to be honest, like, she's kind of like, fallen off a bit at this point. So I don't really consider...
Yeah.
Maybe if it was like peak Bridal Catria and then Emblem Lyn came out with her, then I would say, okay, you know what, that's pretty toxic. But like now, not so much.
Right. And I like the point you made, like her being a great equalizer. I think that's something that kind of separates that from toxicity, is that, she makes, other probably like neglected units good. Or like she allows F2P players like myself to compete in Aether's defense. And so, yeah.
Right. Chat does not agree with us though. Oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we got Catria.
So yeah, A seems to be, although it's pretty evenly split.
It is.
Like 33, 24, 24, 16.
Definitely majorly below Camilla.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up is our first emblem hero. We got Emblem Celica. Now this is an interesting one too, because in some ways this unit is very toxic, but in the sense that I don't think she ever had the firepower to be like completely toxic, but her actual playstyle is very, very toxic in my opinion.
Yeah, if Celica was actually good at combat, like she would be like everywhere. But the fact that she's not, does the fact that she's not good at combat increase her toxicity? I guess that's the philosophical question of the day.
For all these, we are voting off the ring, not the unit. We're not talking about Celica ring. We're just talking about Celica. I guess I should have clarified that first before people start voting. Just Celica herself. Her ring is toxic. I mean, I could see arguing for that, but I think we're talking about the unit. Just the unit. But yeah, it's interesting to see her get a kind of a resurgence with Sakura again, because like it actually fixes like one of her major problems, which is just like not dying immediately.
Exactly.
But even still, she doesn't kill much. Like she doesn't get through saves. It was really erosion season where we got to see her like really. It
was only erosion.
Yeah.
And like even then, like I ran that Celica Sakura team, and she would fail to kill a bunch of things. Like she failed to kill freaking legendary Eirika. Like what is that?
Oh man.
So. Yeah. Emblem Celica is just not good.
No, yeah, I agree. I think she's like she's better than Myrrh, but like Myrrh was pretty weak, to be honest. Like,
yeah, that's not saying much.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Redo the vote. I don't think we need to redo the vote.
Wait, why would we redo the vote?
I guess some people voted for A because they were considering the ring immediately.
Well, I mean, A's not winning, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I think you're like B tier right now. Give it a little bit longer. Used her in all PvE content for a very long time. I mean, yeah, PvE content. I think PvE content like is not a great measuring tool, but it is fun to use units there, right? I use a lot of units I just want to play with there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then the poll there at the 2-minute mark. Looks like beats here.
Yep, beats here with 30, 38, 20, 10.
Okay, and comparing that to Azura, he's below Azura. Okay, perfect. We are not counting rings. Okay, I'll make a pin.
Honestly, Azura should be like higher than like some of these units I feel that we have currently.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do this. I'm gonna pin this. People coming in.
Oh yeah, just pin that. Oh, I think
I pinned the wrong thing. Oops. It bounced too fast. Sorry, Highland app. I'll fix it in a second. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
My bad. Okay, next up. Legendary Chrom. Now, this is also an interesting one. I think people are going to have very different experiences with him. Depending if, obviously you're using him or you're fighting against him. And then also in Arena, especially if you played against Chrom early Arena, right? Then it was really scary because no one knew how the AI worked very well back then too. So we had this unit who was just like randomly repoing things and killing everyone.
Yeah, I think it's also like the context that is important for Chrom as well, because like in Arena, back when he released, you don't really have like any positional assist skills. It was only rallies.
Right.
But then here comes this unit that's a super strong nuke that can do the repo, and not only that, get an extra action to effectively increase his range in a time where there's not a lot of ways to increase range. And so
definitely. Yeah. Definitely. Oh, and chat, if you read on the stream, it says unit at their prime historically when they are most toxic in the meta. So that's one with the position we're looking at their prime.
At their peak. Yeah.
At their peak, exactly.
Whenever that is, whether that's on release or like 3 months later or
on
like
refine
now,
or
refine,
Personally, I don't know. I found Chrom, I don't know if I consider Chrom like toxic or maybe like low toxic, because like he can be very annoying to deal with at times, but like I never found him to be like to an extent where I was like, I hate Chrom. You know what I mean? I'm gonna like break my phone over Chrom. You know what I mean? There were just moments in Arena where I'm like, oh my god, I forgot he could. He would do that at this exact position.
Yeah, I feel like it's similar to how Ninja Lucina is currently, in that like Ninja Lucina is very, very strong, but like she's kind of like the Landora's T of Fae, where like even though Landora's T is like used very frequently, it's more like a glue or like just a more flexible fill-in. Yeah,
like a very versatile meta piece. They can just kind of go in there. Yeah. Right. Remember, guys, we're not talking about just power. We're talking about toxicity. Power and toxicity are not exactly the same, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so we're gonna end the poll there. Let's see. So also B tier for Chrom.
Yeah, looks like he's the 35, 50, 10, 3. Don't know how that happened.
Okay. So above Celica and above Azura. Right there. Okay. Next up, so we have Brave Eirika. This will be interesting because I don't know how many people actually remember this, but we're essentially going to be like looking at if the prime time of Brave Eirika was essentially right after the introduction of Summer Duels, and before Canto Control. So it was not a very long period of time. I'd say it was like 3 or 4 months. Where essentially you had a Brave Eirika who was one of the hardest hitting melee nukes in the game, but also had Canto, right? Which in a time when Canto was very limited. I'm interested to see what people say here.
I'm interested as well, because I was one of those Brave Eirika users in the very, very beginnings of Summer's Duels. And yeah, she was pretty strong. Like, obviously, not couldn't cancel as well as Yuri was back then.
Right. But like back then, how many melee units did we have that could even cancel? Right, like it was like Reagan.
It was Reagan.
Yeah,
and it was basically Reagan. Yeah.
Like, being able to have Canto and not having to run a Canto B skill was such a big power play for Eirika. And having armor effectiveness too, like, man.
Right. Yeah, oh my goodness, that reminds me of like I was facing against a match or something, and they DM'd me later saying that, oh, I got the heads up from Promise to keep in mind your Brave Eirika because like that Brave Eirika just destroyed the save tank or something like that. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I had fun playing with her a lot. I really liked that period of summer duels with Yuri and Eirika. That was a ton of fun. Obviously, Kanto was busted, and Kanto control was a necessary thing we needed. But man, just playing with it was fun. You know what I mean? I think that's like before summer duels was ultra hardcore.
I need to upload the tournament VOD of Gas's tournament, but it's like freaking 32 gigabytes long. So
you gotta leave it overnight or something, or when you go on vacation,
exactly.
Just leave it going. Oh man. Okay, so gonna end poll there. This one's pretty close actually. Maybe I'll give it a little bit longer, give it like another 10 seconds or so to see if anything changes. Get your votes in. It's really close between B and C.
Yeah.
Oh man. You dread facing her for like ever? I dread facing her for a little while, but then after a while, like I found ways to deal with her. Okay,
after a while, yeah.
Okay.
It seems like it's going to be in C tier.
First, food poisoning. Okay.
Yeah, 12, 32, 34, 20 for the VODs.
And okay. Okay, well, it wouldn't be a tier list without two Eirikas, right? So here's Emblem Eirika. Yeah, again, this is gonna be a bit of a recency bias.
Yeah,
because she's so new. But I would say she is an extremely powerful and toxic unit with the ability to essentially break the rules of the game, which has been a recent trend. Oh. I don't know if my chat just froze.
Uh-oh.
Let me see. Did it pop up or no?
Do you need like refresh or something?
Yeah, I'm refreshing it.
Refresh YouTube Studio.
The actual poll didn't show up. Yeah, okay. 1 second, chat. Sorry about that. Okay. Remember, this is just her, not her ring. There it goes. Okay. Sorry about that. This Eirika's kind of whatever. I think this Eirika is like one of the best units in the entire game. I don't think it's even close, personally. I'm interested to see because this is her first SDR, right? I believe.
This is the first SDR, yeah.
Right. So it'd be interesting to see her in this because SDR is obviously like where you're playing with essentially the top 10 units in the game, typically. So
yeah. I think well, she is also bonus, so there's that going for her. But...
Right.
I mean, I think Emblem Eirika is fine, except for the fact that she doesn't trigger far saves.
Right.
I think that's the one thing that sort of pushes her to the edge of toxicity, because, well, it's like what you said. It's like breaking the rules. Like you're attacking from range, but it's not actually like triggering range effects.
Exactly.
So that like fundamentally changes how you have to approach things, or like how you deal with her. That being said, like she is kind of like limited on the current map because we have the trenches in the middle, and no one's going to bring Odor or Lind.
That's gonna be fun. Let's see someone do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's usually my sign of toxicity is whenever a unit breaks the fundamental rules of the game. That's usually where I'm like, okay, this is where things go from like being powerful to like broken. She also just hits really, really hard with a brave weapon too, which is kind of nuts. I don't know, and I feel less reliant on Sakura with this unit than I do with like, let's say, Camilla or Yunaka. Like obviously, she's still good with everyone's good with Sakura, but I feel like Eirika stands more on her own legs.
Right, because Eirika does have the ability to attack at range without triggering far saves. I think that's like what makes her her. And even without Sakura, even without everything, like she still provides value just due to that, getting around the front line to... Yeah.
Right. I think the only thing that keeps me from being like absolute 100% like this is a toxic unit is Ice Lock. If Ice Lock didn't exist, I think this would probably be like the most toxic unit in the game currently. But because Ice Lock exists, there's ways to counterplay it, right? Effectively. Either putting the ice at 2 range or 1 range, like depending on the situation. Because I think, Brave Robin's great, but I don't think Brave Robin would be enough by herself to counterplay this, right? I think it's the combination of having Brave Robin as an option, but also having Ice Lock on just, really good healers like Sakura or like Hortensia or something like that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Actually, anyone really. Ice Lock's just that good where you can just run any healer. It's
again, like someone reached rank 1 SDS with 4 Lissas. So
This one's really close. Wow, this is really close. Okay, we're gonna end the poll there. That's kind of crazy. This one's insanely close.
Yeah. What?
Wow. Okay.
Y'all are crazy. Yeah.
Very interesting.
41, 44, 5, and 7.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like I'd put Eirika above Camilla personally, but
yeah, Erika's below legendary Chrom. That's an interesting take. Okay, we're up. It's time, chat. It's our first innocent person in the poll. Elimine, our saintess.
No.
The most pure and innocent unit to ever exist.
No. Elimine is
just wanted to get rid of the evil that is Catria, who is a stage 4 cancer, obviously. So
Catria's not evil.
I mean, she's in stage 4 cancer. That's pretty bad. I mean, when do you go to the doctors and they tell you have stage 4 cancer, and you're like, man, that's not that bad.
So now you're taking chat's side. I see how it is. Yeah, bruh, false start is like one of the most ridiculous things they've ever introduced.
I don't agree. Not anymore. I definitely don't agree with that anymore. Maybe at the time it was definitely a very, very powerful effect. But as I always bring up, there was countermeasures to it, right? There was actually things you could do.
Countermeasures.
There were. It was a resistance check, right? There's a resistance check with other units. Yeah, there's no check, right? There's nothing.
I put Fortress resistance defense on Catria. I put Phantom Res on Catria. Yeah. Guess what? I still got false started quite a bit.
Well, I mean, there's no way to. Yeah. If you're going into a +10 Elimine, you're going to lose the res check, obviously. But there are ways to counterplay, right? That's essentially what I ended up doing. I just kept res stacking my Catria. I put res debuffs on my defense team to make sure that Elimine got targeted by them. And it wouldn't work all the time, but it definitely did help a ton. Like I said, I'm not arguing she's not a strong unit. I don't think she's a top tier toxic unit, though. That's personally my opinion.
I personally think she's toxic because the fact that they had to basically change the start effect time from like start of turn to start of player phase or enemy phase just to get around Elimine is like kind of ridiculous, honestly.
But I mean, the thing is, like, they had to do that with Freyr too, right? Now we have mid-turn debuffs because you can't do any start of turn buffs at all.
Right, and you're the one who says that Freyr is always toxic, so like,
right? Yeah, because I will always bring up the thing that Elimine has a way to get around, especially as she ages. Her resistance is no longer as good as it once was. Which means that there is counterplay built in, and as time goes on, she'll get weaker. With a unit like, let's say, Freyr, that's not the case. Where he's still being used in some rules to this day. Elm is kind of probably going to hurt him a little bit, but the fact that he has been, and on both seasons, right? That's my always thing. I don't know. We'll see. Chat's obviously seems to be more on your side than mine.
Yeah, I need
22% of chat is super based.
Okay. 22% of chat are just Mario Kart Double Dash fans. That's what I say.
Best Mario Kart game. So
D for Double Dash.
Ultra based. Ultra based. Yeah, we haven't got anything else that inflexible. I'll start either. Yep. Okay. She was the detox to toxic unit. Thank you so much, Sin. You're so true.
Catria was not toxic.
So true.
Just haters.
So true. Okay. Let's see. Go ahead.
So yeah, we have 46, 9, 19, 24.
Okay.
Oh, I have a lot to say about Freyr once we reach him, but it's fine.
She's in the middle, right there. Okay, now we have our most recent unit, and this is mostly a vibe check because, not that many people have got to play with them.
Right. It's literally been like
this is a vibe check. This is probably the least realistic tiering. If you've checked out my reaction video or my summoning video, you know my opinion on this unit. I absolutely hate this unit. 100 billion% so much. This unit is so disgusting, and I hate that he like I was mentioning earlier with my example where if Catria came out alongside Emblem Lyn, I would think Catria was more toxic. That's what Elm is essentially. You know what I mean? It's like, here's the unit to enable the best strategy to be better, which is like crazy. Like, oh my god. Yeah.
Like, I mean, again, like Ether Raids was already dead, but now it's like actually dead. So unless like IS actually makes the unit to get rid of all offensive structures or something like that, like there's no way anyone with Elm is losing anymore. Like it's that crazy in my opinion, because even though I hate saves, like saves is a part of the game now. So like, you know, the whole unit design and stuff and defense design and stuff has been built around that. And so to get rid of that, to have safety fence level 2, to literally just be able to like snipe everything for free, it's over.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing too. Like if safety fence didn't exist, I don't think he'd be nearly, or safety fence level 2 to be, you know, particular. Didn't exist, it wouldn't be as bad, because like you get one free snipe. Okay, that's bad. You know, I mean, like, oh man, maybe that you kill a unit that you really need for your defense. But being able to have 3 turns of free sniping, that's nuts. Like, you literally remove their entire front line. Like, oh my gosh, I really hate it, right? Especially if their far saves in the back line, so you're not even like having to deal with the far save. Like, you could even remove their near save and then have like, you know, somebody like Eirika run in and just like completely
Eirika,
kill
Camilla,
everything. I'm not a big fan. Okay, this is big A tier.
Elm doesn't need to approach. You can just end turn and then he will.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing. You don't need to approach with Elm. You just end turn. Like I recorded that video 3 times, and because the first time I misunderstood and thought that he had to approach and do damage, right? Like had to actually enter combat, and I was like, you know what? That's not that bad. That sucks. But there's counterplay to that with ice and traps. But the fact that you can just literally end turn is so ridiculous.
It's so stupid. Yeah. Anyways, Elm 52, 35, 5, 6.
Okay. So he's second highest. Elo. I'm so surprised Camilla's this high.
I'm so shocked Camilla's this high, if I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, next up is Elm's like mom, kind of. We got Embla.
Safety fence should have counted as a unit.
I was thinking about it because Joel mentioned that too. I should put safety fence. Yeah. I feel like safety fence would just automatically take up one of the slots on top. Okay, next up we got Embla. This is Mythic Embla. I don't know how toxic do you really think she is? I think that on release we kind of expected her to do more than she did.
Yeah. I mean, I think by that point, when Embla got released, we were sort of shifting away from just save tanking to, I guess, Omni tanking. But yeah, Embla honestly did not impact the meta as much as I thought she would. And so...
She didn't get a resurgence again until like last year, where like all of a sudden feud became really effective, and it was like, oh, you can try off saves and do feud. That's really good. You know what I mean? And then we got Tree Man, and she disappeared again.
Yeah. And so like I know like toxicity is absent from power, but also when it comes to Embla, at least when it comes to Summer's duels, you can literally just end turn and then get rid of her undefended effect. And so
exactly.
The counterplay is actually relatively simple in Summer's duels, at least.
Right, and she's an Ether Raid's defense unit too, instead of an offense unit. So like, there's that, and her range is 3 rows, 3 columns. So like, even if you wanted to play saves, there was ways to do it in a sense.
Right.
It was not easy, and it didn't always work, but there was ways. I don't know. I don't feel like she's that bad, to be honest.
Yeah.
Looks like chat's agreeing. It's not very close. We're going with a C tier for Embla.
Seems like it. Yeah. 21, 26, 30, 21. Yeah, and the fact that you have like 5 teams to choose from to handle Embla back then also like
She's our bottom unit right now. Okay, next up, it's the face of toxicity that everyone talks about.
It's no.
Fallen Edelgard. Oh man, I think this is good. We're gonna give this one some extra time because I feel like everyone wants to vent their frustration, so I'm just gonna let them do it. So if you don't know, my YouTube channel literally started with a Fallen Edelgard video. That's literally how my YouTube channel started. It was Beast Force. We got Satoshi with the membership, the propaganda. Anyone that votes for Fettle is in A tier is skill issue. Okay. So for me, like that's literally how my YouTube channel started, was Gale Force clears with Fallen Edelgard and Pirate Tabarn. And then the video that kind of popped off my channel was me killing 6 Fallen Edelgards with Pirate Tabarn. So I have a very interesting relationship with her. I think you're also in the kind of same situation as a Gale Force player.
Yeah. So I mainly use Fallen Edelgard as a Gale Force follow-up unit, still to this day, actually. And in my mind, that was always her role. Like, I've always thought she was a terrible tank, even on release.
Agreed.
Like, I think the only reason why she has that reputation was during her bonus season, so people just stuck her in the corner or something like that. But like, she's not a good tank. Like, if you browse the Reddit in like the month that Fallen Edelgard was released, you'd see so many people taking out their Edelgards with like Hana or their other like 4-star units or something like that.
Right.
And yeah, it's just, she's not tanky, really.
Bowie killing her.
What's that?
Bowie killing her.
Bowie killing her. Yes, exactly. So I think it's just overstated how terrible she is when like she's not a good tank. What she is actually good for is Gale Force, which I'm now an Edelgard defender now because people now should think she's bad. And it's like, no, she's still really good as follow-up.
Yeah, for me, she was always like a knowledge or skill check. That's how I always considered her. Like if you know how the game works, right? Yeah, and you know how to use no follow up or like a sweep effect or something like that, right? She's very easy to kill. But if you don't know how to do that, then she like pounds you in the face and then bonfires you and explode, right?
Right. Yeah.
Obviously she's a powerful unit at the time, but I'd never consider her like a.
Oh yeah. I just feel like she was powerful for the reasons people are not stating she is.
Right.
I think if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, you often hear about how she just was unkillable or stuff like that.
Which is so not true.
Right. Okay. I think this is obviously a very one-sided poll, so let's put it in.
Yeah, chat being unbased, so it's such a shame. 89, 6, and 4.
Oh, she's very much the highest stage 4 cancer we have. Which is not a surprise. But we have a contender coming up.
Actually.
We have a contender coming up. I know this unit is also a unit people consider very, very toxic. We have Brave Felix. One of my favorites. Oh, man. Okay. So, Brave Felix. Now, the question is Brave Felix himself cancerous? Or was it the combination of him with Celica ring, right? So, I think the fact that we had so much anti-warping and we saw Felix usage decline after that is kind of proofs to the point that the Celica ring was a portion of why he was so ridiculously powerful, right?
Right.
Not to say he's obviously a bad unit. He's a very good unit. You get 3 actions, and one of them you don't have to even attack for, which is really strong. And also, he's a really nice combination of bulk and firepower, especially on release, which is when he was prime power.
Right.
But it's interesting to see what people think of him.
I think he was very, very strong. I don't think I would say he's toxic to that same extent, because I think it's the same as you mentioned. Like, it's mainly Celica ring that allowed him to warp him and do his thing. But unlike a lot of other units, he can't run paths. And so there were ways to play around that or take advantage of the fact that Celica ring warping is only to the closest spaces and positioned in a way that he wouldn't be able to warp. And so, yeah.
AoE Felix is not fun.
I might be a bit biased because I do use Brave Felix a lot in Gale Force,
right?
In Ether Race, but yeah, Powerful, yes. Toxic, I'm a bit more iffy on that.
Yeah, I think AoE Felix is extremely fun. Obviously, I'm obviously biased, but I think that's ridiculously fun.
It's so fun. Yeah.
And the thing about Felix too is like he is never at the bulk standpoint where you couldn't kill him if you prepared properly, right?
Exactly.
If you get checkmate by Brave Felix, it's probably because you made a mistake already. Which, to be fair, if you're a casual, you probably wouldn't even be able to recognize that you made that mistake. So that I get it.
Right.
But like a prepared, not even hardcore, but prepared player, there's a lot of ways to kill Felix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially because Brave Bernadetta came out literally alongside him, and she had a Brave weapon, so she didn't have to win a speed check.
Brave Bernadetta, Young Robin, like there were quite a huge list of ways to deal with Felix.
Right.
At least when it comes to like the attacking side, yeah.
Right. Definitely. All right, I'm gonna end the poll there.
Dang, 66.
I'm not surprised.
66, 26, 5, 1.
Okay. 1% above Camilla. We are number 2. Okay, now it's time for the actual most toxic unit to ever exist in Fire Emblem Heroes.
That is not true, and you know.
Yes, no, I know. Freyr is literally the greatest evil to ever exist. The most bullshit.
Freyr's fine. You know what?
Nope.
Freyr's even our savior.
He is
to
not.
The actual most toxic effect that they've ever introduced, Elimine.
Nope.
Historically, anyways.
Freyr is literally existence. He destroyed.
Nope. Let's go D tier.
he literally came out, destroyed all debuffs for offense, made it so that you can use visible bonuses without any penalty ever.
Doesn't need debuffs.
Why? Why not?
Use team without debuffs,
But debuffs are good.
Or use mid-turn debuffs, like Elm.
Well, now, you can do that now. I think obviously, Freyr is really good now, but I don't think we can argue Freyr's prime time is right now, right? Like I think that would be a little bit disgenerous. I think at his prime, like being able to remove all, like the amount of mid-turn debuffs we had when Freyr was at his prime was essentially 0, I believe. No, there was a few. There were some really crappy ruse effects. Like, not the good ruse, not the tier 4 ruse, like the crappy ones, right? So technically that existed. But every other debuff he took off, so it means you could use visible bonuses without penalties, because you're not worried about panic, right? He disables false start, so there's no way to stop any like annoying effects that might be going off, like Bridal Catria. And at the time when he released, he was actually a pretty good combat unit as well. He was pretty bulky. Like, not like unkillable bulky, but annoying bulky, where you're like, oh my god, Freyr's coming, this is actually an annoyance.
I mean, all I'll say is that, like, well, I guess I'm sort of biased because I've never used debuffs on Aetheryte's offense, since I mainly use player face strats and mainly just focus on buffing my own team. But I feel like the statement that Freyr has no counterplay is not true, because holistically, there's a way you just buff your own team instead of relying on debuffing the enemy team. And so, yeah, like...
But you don't have a way to cleanse, like, if they panic you, then you have nothing, you can't do anything about it. You know what I mean? Like...
well, that's separate from Freyr then. Like, that's then, like, trying to consider how to play around whatever is panicking you, which there are ways to do that.
Well, what I'm saying is that one side gets an unfair advantage of a cleanser that cleanses everything, and your team cannot have that. Well, it can, but you lose scoring, right? Because Freyr is a defensive mythic. And at the time, he was the only unit that did that. Now we have Micaiah and, oh my god, what's her name?
Ninja Saline?
Yeah. Who do it to an extent. It still wasn't the same, right? But to an extent. There are ways to do it more now. And eventually we got like auto recovery and stuff like that. I think that was kind of an answer to like trying to give offense players more ways to get around debuffs at the time. Right? So I think he essentially gave out a safe stat advantage. Freyr on Chaos offense. Let's not even talk about Chaos Season, CJ. Let's be real. Chaos is a joke.
Chaos Season does not exist.
Exactly. Remember when we did the first podcast where we were talking about Chaos Season and we were so like freaking naive and happy about it? Like we're going back.
we thought it would be an actual like challenge, and we're even scared of like potentially it, being super toxic. But no, it's just like a breeze now.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Probably the most hilarious in hindsight podcasts we've done.
Yeah, if we go back and listen to it now, it'd be pretty funny actually to react to that. Like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise Catria is an A tier. Literally, everyone slept on her for like ages until her eventual rerun. I don't think it was before her rerun that people. It was like when who was it? That
it was when Nott line meta started dying out.
Yeah,
and people actually had saves.
It's like a month later or something like that, where people were like, oh, but yeah. Okay, let's end the poll there. Chat is based and agreeing with me.
Awesome. 62% of chat are unbased, in my opinion. Yeah, 62, 15, 9, 12. 12% D tier. Let's go, chat. I see you.
Let's see.
Is that 12%?
Below Camilla and above Elm. So right here. Okay.
There's no way Freyr's above.
I think he should be higher, Elm. Personally. I don't know how Camilla's is high. I'm really completely...
I don't know how Camilla's that high either. Like, what is she doing there?
Oh man. Okay. Next up is the legend himself, Brave Hector, one of the most dominant units to ever exist. Obviously, he's fallen off pretty hard now compared to someone like Bridal Catria, who's still pretty good. Mm-hmm. But at his peak, this unit was literally everywhere. Now the question is, because he was powerful, was that toxicity or just a really powerful unit? Right.
Right. I think he himself wouldn't be as toxic if it wasn't for the fact that saves skills kind of coincided with his peak as well. Because when he got his refined, he was just like, oh, it's a super powerful Omni tank. You still have like the disadvantages of having to run armor. But now with saves, armors are actually good. So yeah. Right. Yeah, I think it's interesting to think about that.
Because like essentially his peak was like converging with the moment where Omni tanks got murdered, and then saves had to take their place, right?
Exactly. Yes.
I personally, I never saw him as a toxic unit, but obviously that's because for me, he was my answer to like the not sacred lines. Like Hector just won essentially,
right?
And so I always saw him as like a very positive thing in the game. But I will admit, like especially in the beginning of Summer Duels, if you had a hardy fighter Brave Hector, he was pretty toxic.
Oh, those were the days.
Yeah, where like it was a can you kill Brave Hector the game? You know what I mean? Like if you can't, you could lose that Summer Duels match pretty easy. Now, obviously there was counterplay, but it was not always the most obvious counterplay, right? Like learning to time the lethality of Yuri's attacks to get past, shield fighter or hardy fighter. And then also, or like using duo dagger with the bonuses, but then he got distant defense 4, right? So it was really good in my opinion, because there's a lot of counterplay and like really a lot of different matchups based off how you built your unit, which in my opinion is what strategy is all
back
about.
And forth. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Hector greater than fallen Edelgard's actually true for a tank.
Maybe, but I don't think fallen Edelgard's that toxic either, to be fair. So okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna end it here. Looks like a B tier.
B tier, yes. So 19, 44, 23, 13.
Okay. Next to Eirika, but Eirika has way more A tiers than he does about Azura.
Yeah.
Azura has, so he's technically above Azura, but Azura has like way more A tiers, so he's kind of like here.
So probably between Azura and Celica.
Yeah, let's just do that then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up is one of the healing hands, my least favorite faction to ever exist in this game. I hate them so much. We have Heidr. Man, hate this unit. Oh my god.
I'm interested to hear what chat thinks about Heidr.
Okay. What's your take on it? Because I think you know what my take is, so we'll do mine second.
Well, Heidr is super toxic since I don't have Heidr. But no, real talk. I think. I mean, we talk about like the flat damage support of that Heidr gives, but I think the fact that her healing nectar just completely bypasses fatal smoke is kind of ridiculous.
Exactly. That's why I was gonna bring it too.
Yeah, because beforehand, like it was with fatal smoke and breath of life, it was actually pretty decent with the counterplay or like the back and forth between like burn damage and Breath of Life. But then Heidr came in and just like burn damage just disappeared. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's where I'm kind of at. Where like I think 10 flat DR is already really strong. Like a Breath of Life effect essentially is also really strong. But the fact that you can just ignore Fatal Smoke, I hate these effects. This is something we'll be talking about more with another unit later on. But I really hate when they like, hey, here's a counter to a thing. Oh, that was too strong. Let's add a counter to the counter, right? So right. You just go in giant circles, and that's essentially what Heidr did, while also acting as a really powerful frontliner, right? At her peak, she was a really powerful frontliner who offered the entire team bulk, healing, and ways to get around Miracle and Fatal Smoke. And to me, that's just like super gross. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, and like, I think she is like at least partially, if not fully, responsible for the fact that we were in a tank meta for so long. Like towards the end of last year and beginning of this year, like everyone just like increased in bulk so much that like tanks became back essentially.
Right.
And honestly, that made the meta for me specifically kind of boring because I prefer nuke over tank meta when it comes to summer souls. And also it like makes it more like whaley if it gets to more of a tank meta. So yeah,
right, it becomes like a DPS check essentially, like to play the game.
Exactly.
Yeah. Welcome everybody coming in. I see some more people coming in. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're doing. Everybody's coming
here.
I think when it comes to this, everyone has an opinion, which is always the fun part, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. The A tier.
All right. 54, 25, 16, and 4.
Okay. So Heidr is under Freyr. Above Elm? Just barely above Elm. Okay, interesting.
Interesting.
I got another one of my favorites. This absolutely not toxic unit at all. This guy's just, he's out here fighting for his friends, just trying to do his best life, It's not his fault he was partially invincible for a little while. Oh, man. So we got Emblem Ike. I remember, once again, this is not including his ring. This is just Emblem Ike himself. So, I guess I'll start with this. So, I mean, I definitely can understand, because, like, when Emblem Ike came out, we were at a point where Omni tanks were pretty weak, right? The Altina was, like, good. Sheeta was good. But then we got Ike, and Ike was just on a completely different level than any other Omni tank that came out, right? And so I think the meta really just had to warp around him, because if you couldn't kill Emblem Ike, you just lost the game. Like in E-threads and Summoner duels. And so a lot of the meta started warping around him. Now, that is a power thing. How toxic is that? Typically, I don't find stat checks like we were talking about earlier fun. I think those do add to toxicity. Yeah. Now, is this as toxic as some other things? I wouldn't say that. Like, I definitely find some of the units in A tier to be way more cancerous than Ike was. But he was definitely, I think, especially as a casual player, like this could be definitely a big wall for you to climb over.
Yeah. I think I mainly agree. Like, he was this huge wall that you had to overcome. That being said, I don't think he was necessarily as toxic as like the folks in A, because, well, for one thing, at the end of the day, he is just an Omni tank, a very powerful Omni tank, but an Omni tank that you could spec for, that you could like do matchups against and figure out ways to deal. Like, other than that, there wasn't really a thing that was like in your face toxic the same way that I guess Felix was, or Eirika does, which literally breaks the rules. So like I kind of feel like he's pretty fair, honestly. Like, yeah, very, very strong, but fair.
Yeah.
I guess.
I will say one thing is that, unlike a lot of other units, that he did get continuous support throughout most of the year. Like when he first came out, like his big weakness was AoEs, and then like they're like, here's Breath of Life, like here's here's a way to get your special charge, like because like like female duo Robin, right, trying to act as a counter and stuff like that. So I will say that for sure, and I could see how someone could a more casual player could see Ike being a very toxic unit. Personally, I said, I think I'd put him like around B tier, maybe probably around where Brave Hector is, where he's he could be a little bit toxic, but he's not that terrible. But
I mean, maybe it's because I have a young female Robin, but I never really had issues dealing with Ike, at least when it comes to Summer's duels. So, yeah.
Don't hurt me, said we're coping so hard. He was toxic because he also pulled the Sun Specials, but you got to engage in combat, right? So there was definitely there was definitely play there, right? Because I definitely played some of those matches where I did go in with Ike to turn off people's AoE specials, but a good player could stop me from doing that, right? So I think that, like I said, I do think he is toxic to an extent, but I don't think he's as toxic as some of the other things. He doesn't break the rules of the game fundamentally.
Right, exactly.
For me, which is like the big defining factor of a toxic unit. Okay, let's end the poll there.
All right. Seems like he's joining us in A. Got a lot of
A lot of A tiers, yeah.
Yeah. All right. 58, 29, 9, and 2.
Okay. Whole tiers is going to be A tiers. You guys can do things relatively, right? You know. Okay, right here. Okay. Next up. Okay, this is one of my least favorite units to be introduced ever. Okay, we got Larry. I'm gonna put Lather there. I was gonna put Larry. The tree man. Okay, man, do I hate this unit? I hate this unit so much. So when it comes to this unit, the reason why I think he's so toxic is because his main effect of making your allies or your foes into saves is not a debuff; it's a bonus, right? And that's my problem. It's because there's no counterplay whatsoever at all to being able to remove your own bonuses. Right. So not being able to deal with that, except for like in summer duels, like, you know, essentially making it so there's a unit in the front that gets hit by the debuff and then nobody else gets hit by it, right? Or like doing an all melee team or something like that so that no one can be far save hit. I just really hate that, first of all. And then second of all, he puts flash on people. So if you don't have NCD, like, you just can't counterattack. So it's like a double whammy. And it's not just a far save or a near save. It's both, right? It's not like it just hits the lowest defense unit and then that's it. Like, oh, that's your near save target. It's both. So, like, it's so strong. And he's an armor with, like, introduce anti-warping. But he can also be, like, a far save. He's not the best far save, but he's a very role compressed far save, where he can do like the shield fighter build while still causing all this chaos through these debuffs and technically bonuses. Which is just really, really annoying to me.
Yeah, he's definitely very, very annoying. Like, the counterplays I've seen to him are like prepping your team beforehand to make sure the lowest defense are the ones you actually want, and basically making sure to like keep the affected units like out of range or something like that. Which, you know, is a very big mental load, which in something like Summer's duels can like just lead to, you know, making mistakes a lot more easily thanks to him. That being said, there have been many times when I've used Lorather's effect against him and basically used the fact that he gave out a near save to like just be able to go in a lot more safely. So, I don't think he's like top of the line toxic, but like I still think he's probably warrants an A, just looking at the units here.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a level of counterplay. It's just like the amount of mental load this unit could put on you in the middle of a Summoners match is kind of nuts, in my opinion. And also, we're not even talking about Ithrae's defense, which is technically his main mode, where he just disables saves essentially, and even Omni tanks to an extent, right? Like, now we have to have 3 range support on Omni tanks, or like it just doesn't work. Like, which is a big meta warping thing. So personally for me, like, I would put him as number 1. That's where I'd have him. I think, you know, as much as I hate Freyr, I think he's actually more toxic than Freyr, which is crazy. But yeah, we'll end it there. Let's see. Oh yeah, definitely A.
All right. Yeah, A. So we have 62, 28, 8, and 1.
Okay. Puts him right above Freyr. Camilla is the thing that's like throwing me off
here. There's no way Camilla's up here. Like
that's so funny. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Hey, next we have Duolith, and historically I have said Duolith is my least favorite character to ever be released, and I don't know if that's true anymore now. To be honest, like he's definitely up there, but I don't know. Like with like recent additions, I don't know if I hate him the most.
I mean, I think he was like the first unit that was really starting to annoy me because like back then I was like on the Brave Ike, Brave Lucina train when it comes to Ether raids. And then Liv just like completely destroyed that.
Right.
I think he was like the first unit to have DR having as well.
Yep.
And like back then, like non-special DR was like the king for Omni tanking, and nowadays that's not even a consideration generally.
Right.
Yeah, nowadays is that toxic though? I don't know.
I think he was toxic personally. Like I felt like he essentially like saves were the thing they pushed on us, but like Duolith is the one that actually killed the Omni taking meta that we had for like a year and a few months, essentially, right? Like with the introduction of Brave Ike and damage reduction on an actual scale, and then we got like Repel, right, which was like damage reduction. And we went into a damage reduction meta, and then Lift shows up, and not only does he pierce DR, he also puts Fail Smoke, which just completely disables healing, which killed all the Ikes. It killed Claude. It killed like the Bylifs. It killed everything essentially in one banner.
Right.
And the other thing I think a lot of people don't bring up is that he was like one of the first really units that was built to be an Ether Raids defense duo, right? So like a lot of times we had to put duos onto defense that weren't all that great because we need the duo's hindrance to be active. But with Duolith, you had a really powerful unit who could also activate that, which was big. So I mean, he's definitely very powerful. And I consider him toxic just because the combination of Fail Smoke and DR Piercing, where DR Piercing was so strong at that moment. Like the fact that he like essentially warped the entire meta in a sense, right? Like it's not even warped the meta, like he like shifted the meta, right? Like he forced the meta to change, right? Which is crazy.
Because I remember I like swapped to more like aggressive player face strats after that.
Yep.
I mean, it also helped that Fallen Edelgard released after, and I was like, ooh, I could use this. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, though. I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. But in the poll there, this one was actually pretty close. Most people do not feel the same way as me, it looks like.
Ooh, yeah. So we have 8, 37, 35, and 19 going in B tier. Very close to C tier, too.
Yeah. So below Celica. I think that's just right at the end then. Yep. Okay. Next up is Lucia. Now, Lucia didn't have the longest run, but she was very, very powerful and toxic in the sense that you didn't have the right things. You just couldn't deal with her in a lot of ways, right? Because DR having, once again, wasn't really common at this point, right? Like, we didn't have the NFU skills, like physical magic no follow. And she disabled specials, which at that time, specials were a lot of the damage being pushed, right? I think this is an interesting as well, like an interesting unit. I actually had a lot of fun with her. Innocent, we got okay. A lot of chat is not that special denying the character.
For me, like I know the Shadow. We've talked to the Shadow quite a bit. Said that like Lucia was very, very strong and toxic when she was in her debut. But personally, I think she was only like very strong when Gambit was introduced, because like the fact that Lucia couldn't like get drives from speed and stuff, and this was before bonuses were the main way to support your units. The fact that Lucia couldn't do that meant that it was relatively easy to outspeed and therefore not get any speed damage reduction on Lucia. So it was only when Gambit entered the picture where like she started showing her strength. But I think that time was relatively short. So yeah, I don't know.
Personally, I felt like she was pretty strong because we had like that era where we just got Omnitank after Omnitank, Godsword after Godsword. We got like Lucia, Felix, Brave female Byleth, or not Brave, just female, fallen female Byleth. And then what's her name? Summer Fjorm. I felt like she was pretty strong throughout that whole period. Yeah, you are right. Like you couldn't run drives and stuff, but I just ran like Eliwood, and at that time Eliwood was really legendary. Eliwood was still really good for just giving out a ton of stats. So I felt like she was strong there, but I do agree that I think her peak was with Gambit. Gambit was like really where things popped off, and she was at like her peak toxicity. But at the same time, we also had physical no follow up like coming into the meta essentially.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay. Chat also seems to have her pretty low. Okay.
Our second ever C tier.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice. Yeah. So 15, 27, 33, 23.
Okay. Compare that to the other two.
The only Eirika, basically.
Oh, it's just, yeah, you're right. I was looking at Ulm. Okay. Brave Eirika, where is she? 34. Where's Lucia? Okay, Lucia's right, like 1% below her. Okay. Nice. Now it is time for all the Lyns. As you can see, chat, there's a lot of Lyns. Now, this is going to be a bit more difficult because I know a lot of people probably weren't around for year one.
I wasn't around. Yeah.
So a lot of people don't remember, but I think, year one, Lyn and Reinhardt were the game. They were the meta. Like, you couldn't have a meta conversation about anything else unless you removed them from, like, you had to be like, okay, other than Lyn and Reinhardt, who's good in the game? Because they were just so above every other unit. And I think, especially for Lyn, because you had to build a unit specialized to kill her, because she had a sweep effect at the time, which was not even in the game, really, sweep effects like this, right? So you couldn't really rely on distant counter, which at the time, distant counter was the meta in many ways. And that's why, you see like Dancer Indigo, who became like this very key anti-meta unit because he could counter both Reinhardt and Lyn, which was big. With Reinhardt, like, he was very, very, very powerful, but you could technically kill him if you survived, which was not easy, to be fair. But like, he didn't have a way to stop you from counterattacking.
I see.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wasn't there back then for Brave Lyn, so I have like zero context on how toxic she actually was.
Right.
But I heard like the tears. I've heard like the sweep effect in a time when there was like no NCD or anything. So the fact that PA Inigo,
Yep.
was like built up as a counter is kind of insane to me.
With
honestly,
Bowbreaker. Yep.
Bowbreaker. I see.
And you put like the anti colorless tome on him, and then he would just like and triangle with
Raven.
And triangle depth, yeah. It was crazy. Back in like Arena was just cabs. Like it was, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I heard about the was it Reinhardt, Lyn? There were two other calves that
like Camus and Xander, because they had free distant counter in a time when distant counter was like very expensive. They had it built into their weapons. And then also Hone Calves was like the most broken support skill in the game because it gave effectively 12 stats.
Right.
So you run a Hone Cav on two of your calves and Fortify Cav on your other two calves, and you just have a ball of calves that just demolish things. It was so good.
That's wild. Man.
Yeah. Completely different game. Okay, I have to give this another minute because it's literally tied between A and B. So I need chat. You need to get your votes in. We need some more votes. There's a lot of you lurking right now. Like half of you are lurking. Press the button. Fury 3 meta in the A slot for max scoring. That was like, they got rid of that like decently quick. But yeah, at the beginning of the game, you had to run Fury 3 on every single arena unit.
Because it was like based on visible stats, right?
Yeah, it was, that counted towards your BST, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Okay, we'll end the poll there. She's like barely an A tier, though.
Ooh, yeah. So, 0 C tier is interesting. Yeah, 36, 34, 0, 29.
Huh. Okay.
Huh. Interesting.
Okay. She's like at the end, right? Yeah. She's at the very end.
She has to be. Yeah.
Okay. Next up is Duolin. Now, I love Duo Lyn, and I know DTM loves Duo Lyn.
I love Duo Lyn so much.
But I will say she was one of the most powerful nukes on her release. And she was one of the few units who could use Disarm Trap effectively. And she essentially issued in the Duo's hindrance in a big way. Now, obviously, Duo Micaiah also contributed to that. But, like, I think Duo Lyn was obviously the unit that pushed it over the top.
I mean, I think the reason why it was Ninja Lyn that pushed people to use dual hindrance was that she was basically given out for free in HR. And so like everyone's like, oh, well, guess just have to put that on now. I don't know. Like, obviously, like Dual Lyn being the first dual refresher in that ninja line was kind of insane and really good for Gale Force. But I don't know if that necessarily makes her toxic.
Right.
Because like she still required like even though she can run Disarm Traps, she still required like quite a bit of like skill to actually use effectively.
Right.
And it's not like Gale Forcing back then was easy. Like even with Ninja Lyn, it was still really hard. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I think she was a very powerful unit, but she wasn't like a free win unit essentially, right?
Yeah.
Even when after she was getting out for free. I just saw RZL say something and it makes so much sense. Okay, so we're gonna change food poisoning to poisoned mudden because of Dorcas, and that just is perfect. So if you've seen the Fire Emblem commercial, you know what we're talking about. That's actually such a good recommendation. That's perfect. Hey, this one's not too close. We have a B tier here.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd probably put her in C, where she's like a little bit toxic, but not like.
I put her in C, as well.
Like,
but
not like insane.
Yeah. So yeah, 19, 34, 26, 19.
Perfect. Okay. Up. He's like almost exactly tied with Brave. But Brave has more.
Who has more
A
A's?
tiers. Yeah. Oh, wait, but she's B. So she's at the top of B? But she's got way less than Chrom. No, she's lower than Chrom. Eirika. Oh man, this is where things get complicated. There's so many.
Yeah.
439. Okay. Hector. I think she's above Hector. Yes. I think that's right. No. Oh my god. Okay.
The math is mathing.
I'm trying to like freaking like look at all these different. Yeah, she's right here, I believe. Duo Lyn. I think she's tied with Duolith. I'm looking at both the A and the B. Okay. Next up is Emblem Lyn, our newest Lyn to cause havoc in the meta.
Yep.
I'll be interested to see what people think of this one. Remember, this does not count the ring.
Too.
This does not count the ring.
Yeah, not ring, just the unit
Lyn.
itself.
Yep. Okay. I think obviously this unit. I think in Summer Rules this unit's much more tame, but in E3's offense, this is like essentially a free win button through a few different avenues, right? Like you either have the Brave support with Ymir, which is a free win in a lot of ways. You just making sure you just bring enough damage to kill things, or now with Elm, which just makes it actually free because you don't have to even worry about winning matchups, right? Like you just click and point, and then the thing dies. So
like I will say, like before Elm, like people just I guess ran Freyr and protected using saves and stuff. But now we have Elm, so like Lyn is actually just like free to range. I agree. In Summer's duels, she's not that bad, honestly. I don't know how people are getting their Lyns in SD to kill snakes, but my Lyn never kills snakes, like at all. Or like Hector's. Or is this some whale joke? I'm too FTP to understand.
Yeah, yep. You don't have enough love in your Lyn. You gotta give her more firepower, yeah.
Man, I need to spend more orbs. Actually use my florets and faded essence and everything. But yeah, now that we have Elm, at least when it comes to Ether Rays, like it's the batting range for her. Like there's nothing needed. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I think safe defense too is a big part of that. That's a good point, Turbot.
As well, yeah, definitely.
It's definitely the combination of safe defense too in Lyn, and now with Elm. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess this would be her peak technically, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, her peak is now. Yeah,
like we're in May tomorrow, and it's already been. She came out in December, so that's like actually like pretty long for a unit to be this high up.
Yeah,
it's even funnier when you consider like before release how much people were saying she was bad, which is like. Jesus.
Okay, I think like everyone in the know was like hype or like high on her. I think it was some Lyn fans that weren't satisfied.
And Reddit were very much just like, oh my gosh.
Okay. Although I will say, like, again, Lyn's combat, at least my Lyn, is kind of bad. So
she definitely relies on supports a bit more than some other units. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, we have definitely an A, 69, 19, 8, and 2.
Okay. There's 2% people are like, nah, she's still bad.
that 2% is me. She sucks. She can't kill snakes.
She is now number 2. Oh my gosh.
Camilla's finally out of the top 3. Let's go.
Oh man. Okay. Here comes Satan. But to be fair, he's my favorite Satan. So, it's fine.
I mean, dealing with Lyon was easy. You just have to have a Lyon Lucina, and then like you're totally fine.
You just have to have your whole team have action economy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
My Lyn is minus speed. Is that why my Lyn fails to kill anything? Because it's minus speed plus, but it's plus attack though. So, anyways, whatever.
Oh man. I mean, Hardy Bearing does work against Lyn to an extent, but I'll be real. I just bring you Myrrh, and then it doesn't work anymore. And I'm like, okay, I win now. Like it's
yeah.
Now, Dual Lyon.
The one thing that keeps Lyon from being full on toxic is the players that are using Lyon, because you just bait him out.
Yeah, they are brain dead.
Yeah, you bait him out, and then you just kill him next turn, and then like it's free win from there.
Hi Connor, Zach. Where's Legendary Robin? I didn't really think he was toxic, but I guess we could ask chat. We could do a poll to see if Legendary Robin deserves to be on the list.
Just like add him. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we could just add.
If it's, I don't know how easy it is to
it's
add
really
things
easy.
to this.
It's not hard. It won't be on the permanent one. It's like if someone else goes to make theirs, it won't be there. But
I see.
It will be for right now.
Guys, Lyon's not A tier. Again, just get a rearm Lucina, and he's easy dealings.
Okay, there we go. We added Robin. He'll be there. Okay. Obviously, I think the reason why Lyon is toxic is because he breaks the fundamental rules of the game, where it is your turn and then the foe's turn. He's just like, no, it's my turn all the time, essentially, which is like, oh man. And the fact that his attack does it, right, which is like one thing, but then his duo skill can hit multiple units. I think that's also a real thing where you're like, holy shit. Like you could, if you've seen my short video on Dual Lyon where he literally hits the entire team with it, that's just not fair. Like now obviously there are ways to play around it, and if you are a very good player, you can predict how things will turn out. You can, make sure the highest speed unit is when you don't need their action or something like that. But from like a layman's perspective, this unit was completely unfair. And even at the highest tier level, if you're a really good Lyon player, you can make some really unfair plays, which are really annoying.
Yeah. Like, yeah, definitely for like a casual player, like Lyon is like actually Satan. I will say I do actually like when facing against Lyon, I like playing around that with like the speed and stuff.
Right.
I think that's actually really like nuanced gameplay.
Right.
I mean, again, rearm Lucina. That's why I had her with the highest speed, so that she would just get and turn and it'll be free. But yeah, against like a Lyon that actually knows what they're doing, it can be very, very suffocating.
Right. Okay. And this poll, this one's really gonna be. This one's gonna be a close one.
Yeah, I wonder if this is higher than Fallen Edelgard. So that 80, 14, 5, and 0. The only way his speed check hits multiple units is if you have multiple units with the same speed. So you need to like differentiate your speed between your units.
He is tied with Fallen Edelgard, but he has more Bs than she does. So he's technically.
Ooh, that takes a leap.
Our A tier is getting very full.
Yeah. Honestly, there's some units in A tier that I'm like, why are they here?
Yes, I agree. Also, it's making it hard to fit everything. Okay, we'll do that. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Let's see. There we go.
Okay.
Kind of. I don't know. It's Marnie. Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Oh god. Okay, this unit. I hate this unit. Obviously.
I think this unit. She's the savior for F2Ps in Arena.
Stop. I think she actually is one of the most toxic units to ever exist from a pure toxicity standpoint. She literally has mechanics to be toxic. She has a built-in miracle and healing in her kit so that she can reactivate her miracle between combats. On top of being a very bulky unit. And now, this is where people are going to get mad at me, but I think it was a mistake to make her free-to-play. I understand like having free-to-play, having good tools, but the problem is that now everyone had her, so she was in every arena match, and because she scores so high, people started making 2 of her for arena matches. And I'm like, holy shit, deal with 1 Marnie, that's a problem. Dealing with 2 Marnies, or giving her a Celica ring? Oh, like I literally throw up in my mouth. Like, oh my god, I hate this unit.
This is the equivalent of like that one like rich CEO or something complaining about us like having something like Marnie being free is amazing.
No,
like,
it's not great. No.
You
don't play Arena. That's why you don't know. Go play Arena. She is so gross.
I'm going to reach tier 21 this week because Leaf is bonus. And like I deal with Marnie's fine. It might be because I have a Ninja Lucina as well, but you know, like it's fine.
Ninja Lucina's not plus 10 though. I'm talking about max scoring, dealing with those. It's so annoying in Arena. Trying to use like a budget older legendary versus Marnie is so annoying. It's so ridiculously annoying. And then like now Arena Assault, it's just every single map has a Marnie on it, and it's like, oh my god, like how much Fatal Smoke do I even have in my barracks, or like Anti Miracle? Oh, I hate this unit.
I love Marnie. Again, I gotta rep the FTP players out here. Like, FTP players deserve broken units as well. So, you know.
Broken as...
It was so funny at the time, like, that Marnie was actually the star of the banner instead of, like, any of the actual summable units. Like, nowadays, I think Tamara, people consider better, but... Yeah.
Just build a Panette. I'm not gonna build a Panette. I think you guys are crazy. Feel sorry for the homies who had to use Legendary Leaf. Oh yeah, that was me.
I'm gonna use Legendary Leaf this week.
That was literally me.
It's version 6 bonus, so I could just use Valentine's Lucina.
It's not about everything being for whales. It's the problem is when a unit that is toxic is available at this level, you get so many of it. You just see it nonstop, right? Like even whales were playing with Marnie, right? DHM is a whale. DHM plays with Marnie. So like, it's not like it's a one-sided thing.
Anyways, seems like it's in B tier. 36, 41, 12, and 10. I know Mask, right?
Nope,
like that's crazy.
Freyr's in the proper place. Okay, Marnie. He's below Hector. What about Celica? Oh yeah, okay. In these two. I think that's crazy. This unit, I don't know how people are gonna feel about this unit because I don't really know if she's really toxic. We got Duo Micaiah. Now, Duo Micaiah was like, I thought she was more fun than anything, right? Like, obviously, she kind of broke E3's defense for a little while. People were like killing, you know, Edelgards with level 1 Donalds, but I don't think it was ever at the point where it was toxic, personally.
Yeah, I think I agree. Like, I don't think. Well, for one thing, you can't use her on defense, so that automatically like limits the perception of toxicity, if you will.
Right.
I don't know. I think she's just super fun with her button.
Right.
Like that's my thought.
That's my opinion too, personally. I think chat's feeling the same way. Duo Micaiah with Tina. Yes, that was so much fun.
Yeah, I mean it's the same quote unquote toxic as like Pair Up in Awakening, but like it's just fun, you know. So I don't think there's like really an issue.
Satachi's trying to hide that Edelgard died to level 1 Donald. It's okay, Satachi. It happens. It happens. Oh man. Okay, this is pretty heavily a
Yeah.
D tier.
I don't think there's a contest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 6, 13, 29, 50.
Let's see.
Micaiah did nothing wrong. So true. Micaiah did do nothing wrong. I can't say anything because Satachi's going to fly.
Here's Embla. Okay, yeah, she's at the very bottom. Okay, next up is the one and only, one of my favorite units, Nurgal. I love Nurgal. I think that the snakes ruined everything. We were having such a good time. We were having like this nice party, and the snakes had to show up and crash the party and ruin everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just personally, that's how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he was toxic. Like sure, like getting your bonus stolen was, you know, very powerful, but I feel like it's sort of like fit in with the meta and like offered some very neat back and forth between like the bonus meta that we were having back then. I don't know, like I think he was fine from a toxicity level. I don't think he was like toxic, like strong for sure, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm agreeing with most of the chat here. We're like, I think he's fun toxic. We're like, yeah, he's a little bit toxic. You know, he's gonna steal some stuff from you, but it's really fun. Like to see all the buffs just go off and like, all of a sudden you have triangle attack. They don't have it anymore. And they're like, wait, what? And you're like, yep, this is mine now. Like, I don't know. I really love Nurgle. I really hope the snakes die so that Nurgle can come back to the meta because I think it'll be fun. Obviously, he won't be able to really kill things like he was before, but he can still be a really fun support unit.
I mean, if Nurgle ever comes back... Wait, does Nurgle steal stat buffs too, or is it just like bonus effects?
Just bonus effects, so...
Okay, never mind. I was about to say, like, Martha's going to be actually dead.
I mean, Marth will lose some stuff for sure, yeah. But I don't know if I'd really consider like a hard counter or anything like that. This was kind of close between B and C. We'll give it like a little bit more time. Thief Staff was worse. Who has Thief Staff? Tina?
That was, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Love stealing triangle attack, Gal, Pathfinder. Yeah,
I remember the infantry pulse defenses with those. That
was pretty fun. Okay, we'll end this here. It's pretty close though.
Close, yeah, but seems like C edged it out. So, yeah 22, 32, 34, and 10.
Right. Okay.
Right, Thief Staff didn't work in SD. That's why we never talked about it.
He's above Brave Eirika. Okay. Let's see. Next up is snake number 1. So this is Mythic Snake.
Mythic Snake.
Oh man. I think everyone... I will be surprised if this doesn't end up pretty high, to be honest. Because like, I think this is like one of the faces of annoying.
I'm curious to see which one chat puts as more toxic, like Mythic or New Year's.
Oh, that is an interesting thing, right? I don't know, like sabotage and debuffs are really annoying. I think, and that's really strong. But like just having a free anti-warping is also really annoying. Now, technically, you could put the anti-warping onto base Nidhogger. You make her a little bit less bulky, though. So I don't know. I feel like they're both annoying in their own ways.
It's funny because I legit like sparked New Year's Nidhogger, and I'm pretty sure I've never used her in an action before. Although now she's on my Aether Race defense, so I guess I'm the problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, Tactic, stop talking about snakes. You are literally the snake man. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Don't you have like a highly merged snake?
2 + 10 snakes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like you cannot be talking right now.
Run Shield Fighter Nidhogger. Oh my gosh. Okay, Mask. This one's We'll give it a little bit more. Get your votes in, chat. Get your votes in.
I will say, when it comes to this Mythic Snake, like she dies to freaking Echidna, like she's actually a fraud.
Oh my gosh! Stop. How many turns did it take for your Echidna to kill her?
Okay, less than 10. But like, honestly, it wasn't even her that was the problem. It was the freaking Wings of Mercy 4 ninja
dagger.
That was the actual problem.
Yeah. Okay, we'll end it here. Holy crap.
All right. So, yeah, pretty one-sided in A. 84, 10, 1, and 2.
She is now number one.
Beast, Clever Fire Snake.
Snake is number one in the tier list. That's wow.
Over Lyon.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
I disagree too, actually, but I think that's just like, I think snakes are more thrown in their face.
Recency biased.
Yeah. And now we have NY Snake. I guess I'll put her actual name. Okay. So this one, the notable difference is you get the free anti-warping. Also, you get the twin save effect in her weapon, right? You do lose sabotage, but I think these two will probably be pretty similar placement.
Probably similar, yeah.
I think this is like, I think when these units actually die, people will actually celebrate. Like, instead of people like, man, power creep, they're gonna be like, yes, snakes are finally
power
dead.
Creep, yes. Snakes are dead, yeah.
I've been saying we need like a Slayer effect or something that just like is super effective against snakes.
It's just gonna be super effective against Beast. Maybe Beast armors if like IS is being generous towards Beasts, which they have been lately. But yeah, it's just going to be Beast, and the Beast meta will die. The
Beast meta is like 5 units, to be fair.
It's all like, the healing hands.
It's all the healing hands, literally. You know what I mean?
And no, actually, no, Rhea's a dragon. I forgot.
Rhea's a dragon. Yeah. Oh man. Let's see. Better Mythic. I mean, it depends. I usually use New York Snake over Mythic Snake because his anti-warping is really effective for SD and for both. Actually, just both.
Yeah.
Would Beast effectiveness be enough? Oh, well, with Fire Emblem out, I guess. Oh no, Fire Emblem doesn't do that. It's only movement types. Never mind.
Yeah.
Ascended Petra will save us. So true, Andres. So true.
I mean, these days, like snakes are more easily dealt with things like, well, you'll see Yanaka later, but like also like Sakura supported nukes, like Camilla, Eirika, like units like that. So I will say she's not as bad, but yeah, definitely at her peak, she was very tough to deal with.
Yep. Okay. Once again, this is very close.
Ooh, seems like after Mythic. So 83, 11, 1, and 2.
Oh, 1% below. Okay. Very, very close. But the snake's taking both top 2 spots. Okay. Now this is going to take some historical context, right? Some people might not have been here for this, but we have Nott. And Nott historically might be the most powerful. No, is she the most powerful Dark Mythic ever? Like historically? I don't know. I think it's hard to say. Like, obviously, if we used like the Nott Sigurd line now, it would not be nearly as powerful as it was at that time, right? I think it's like how big of a power gap was Nott Sigurd over everything else at the time, right? Oh, did I lose DTM? I think DTM got disconnected. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, well, it's just me for right now. Okay, Larry is better by far.
My mic was muted. I'm so angry.
Okay, you go. Go ahead.
I was saying, like I generally say that no banner is a must summon, but I think there were 2 cases where there were like, if you actually cared about competitive modes, you need to summon for this. One was the HR where Saros existed, and the other was when Nott exists, because those were the first times we had like a defense extra slot mythic, which were so important at the time.
Right.
And so yeah, I highly value Nott. Whether she was toxic or not, well, I personally really like the Nott Sigurd meta, so I don't think she was toxic at all. I probably have people that disagree with me.
I think I disagree. I think that's probably one of the like most toxic Aetherase defenses we've ever had. Like that's a tier 0 defense in my opinion. Like, I mean, when the game literally has to release a new building to counter a strategy, I think that's a sign, right? Like that's like, oh man, we went too far. You know what I mean? Like the only reason why we have Safe Defense 2 now is because of Nott and Sigurd. Like that building wouldn't exist
that way.
Yeah, like she is technically she is half the reason why we have our current problems is because of Nott and Sigurd. Like it's actually crazy.
I mean, I think safety fence was kind of an overreaction. Personally, I think it would have been fine to not have safety fence in because Nott Sigurd was sort of on its way out with like more and more people having saves.
No, there's no way. It was so dominant. Like I think that's definitely like us being top of the meta players, knowing how to deal with it. I feel like we lost like 20% of our player base that month, literally. The amount of complaining I saw about that, the amount of like one of my first videos was like me talking about the safety fence, and people were just like, "Thank God it's here." They were mad. I was on the side of saying this was like killing ether raids, and I got flamed. I got flamed so hard. Because they were just like, no, I can't play the game anymore. Like, give me the safety fence.
I mean, people just need to get good. That's what I said. Like, I was doing fun as F2P in AR during the Nott Sigurd meta. Like, my opinion is that the Nott Sigurd meta was one of the only times when defense was on par to offense. And yeah, it's this mentality of Ether Raid's offense needs to be always so easy. Is how we get to Elm. So. Yeah, I just need to not listen to those people, I guess.
Okay, we're gonna pull here. Okay.
So it seems like she's in B tier, yeah. So 18, 40, 24, 16.
Right below Marnie. I think that's kind of crazy because I think maybe toxic isn't the right word for her, but definitely meta warping. I think it's hard to argue that she wasn't
definitely meta warping. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, next up is one of the OGs again. We got Reinhardt. Now the thing is with Reinhardt, like first of all, a lot of people weren't there for the Reinhardt dominance, and then the second thing is most of the people have a very good like perspective on Reinhardt. Right, Reinhardt was our friend.
Right,
because he was free to play. And so I'm interested to see if people like what their perception is of toxicity versus like getting to play with Reinhardt.
Because I think before Eirika Gate, if that's what it's called, like people Eirika were actually like being very annoyed against Reinhardt, but now it's like, oh, he's our F2P savior. And now I use Reinhardt. So, yeah, exactly. So. Reinhardt was Marnie on launch. I see.
I mean, not really, but yeah, kind of, yeah. He was very much I kill you. Marnie is much more like I'd never die, but yeah.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, similar arena perspective there. He was like my first +10, I want to say. It was Reinhardt. Oh, wow. Reinhardt, Shershi, those were my first two +10s. And then alongside Lucina and Azura, but they were not +10 because they cost money.
Right. Yeah, I mean, bringing in Genshin, like for a while, Reinhardt was like the Xiangling or the Bennett.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, the 4-star that was actually I guess Marnie is that now.
Yes.
Wow, they are alike.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. We all have 1 +10 Reinhardt in our barracks. I think a majority of people do. Like.
I have a +10 Reinhardt, and I wasn't even there.
I like Reinhardt. No, I don't hate Reinhardt at all. Right? I think that I love Reinhardt. I almost made 2 +10 Reinhardts. I loved him. I was constantly investing into him. He was so much fun. Like he made the game fun, in my opinion. But definitely, I think between separating that from the fact that he was completely dominant is another thing. But yeah, okay, we'll end there. Pretty solid A tier. But probably towards the end.
Towards the end, yeah. So 44, 16, 15, 13.
Okay. Let's see. Right below Elimine. So above Lyn. Okay. And now we have yet another one of our more recent units. But to be fair, this unit has been around for at least 2 months. So that's something.
Yeah.
But still a little bit recent. We have duo Rhea with her miracle support. And just being, a very thick save. which that makes sense. Yeah, canonically that makes sense. Tactic, you never built Reinhardt? That's crazy.
Personally, I think I have more trouble with Rhea than the snakes.
Yeah, I do too. I think I do too. Yeah.
KCB is voting innocent.
Where's KCB? Yeah, KCB. Duo Rhea was necessary? That's the most crazy thing I've ever heard. What? What do you mean she was necessary? We do not need any more miracle in the meta.
Yeah.
Oh, Suno with the 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh, thank you. So we'll change my lead unit. I guess we'll put that up for a little vote.
The copy pasta for this week for SDR made Valentine's Rhea a war crime. I saw that.
I haven't seen that.
Oh my gosh.
What does it look like?
I think it's in one of the replays Satoshi sent.
Okay, I'll have to look at it.
Yeah.
She's mostly a fatal smoke 4 check. I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah. I mean, there are ways you can do it without, like, you can use Micaiah, attune Micaiah a little bit. I don't know how that does with Myrrh in the picture, but a lot of times, if it's not shield fighter, you can, like, see if you can out-res her, essentially.
Suno with the Dono. 5 for Duo Rhea because I loved her character aesthetics. Dragon Queen definitely be slaying in that outfit. I mean, she looks... I think I haven't met a single person that doesn't say she looks good, right? Like, she looks really good. And I do like her with Sothis, too. I think it's overall, like, really great. Like, aesthetically, definitely. I think the biggest thing is just the miracle, right? That's, like, the most controversial thing about her. Like, is the miracle a problem or not?
Right.
Fire Emblem Heroes.
You can hear the... you probably couldn't hear it, but the Fire Emblem music popped up in the background from Faye.
I see.
At least it wasn't Sharena. Okay, we'll end this one.
All right. Seems like A, but not as far as the snakes.
Right.
We have 50, 36, 8, and 4. Honestly, I think some of this is reasonably biased with the snakes because, like, I do think Lyon is just like a lot more toxic. Same with Rhea, but yeah.
Okay, right above Elimine, we got the Connor Zach special of Legendary Robin.
Legendary Robin did nothing wrong. Legendary Robin was great.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that one. Suna, if you want to throw somebody in chat for me to change my lead to, let me know.
Where are you at?
Legendary Robin. I think Legendary Robin, like, I mean, obviously Unity stacking was really strong, but was it toxic? I don't know. I feel like they kind of overkilled on it. To be completely honest.
Yeah. I mean, Robin, again, is one of the great equalizers. Like, not as much to the extent as Bridal Catria, but like, he was great at making people good, everything else good. So. Yeah.
Triply Unity Fallen Ike. Archimedes, you're a person after my own heart. I loved that. That was so much fun. I only wish that Emblem or Fallen Ike could have got his refined earlier. That would be great. Booba tier list next. Oh my gosh.
Didn't we already do like a waifu tier
list? We did do a waifu tier list. That's similar, yeah.
Yeah.
They made the play stash? Yeah. Okay, let's see. I don't know, but yeah, I think both. Okay, chat's kind of agreeing with us. So he wasn't really that toxic. I think he's just powerful.
Yeah,
you know,
he was just powerful.
Yeah. Okay, this is like a pretty
straightforward. Yeah. C. So we have
1 second.
10.
I had to add him into the Excel sheet. I forgot to.
Oh yeah.
There. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, 10, 26, 41, 21.
Okay. Robin. Right above Alm. Okay. Now we also have a recent unit. But I'm going to be real. I'm going to take away all the things I said earlier about recency bias. This unit is a problem. We got Legendary Sakura. Like, oh man.
Sakura.
like, I think the definition of a toxic unit is a unit that breaks the fundamental rules of the game. And that's exactly what she does, right? Not only does she break the rules of the game, which would have already been strong, but she also gives Kanto like recall ally, essentially. Which is like, that's the thing that really makes her over the top, in my opinion. Like,
right.
So the way it works, Mask, is we're not voting for S tier. S tier is the top 3. So whoever's in the top 3 will go up to S tier, and then whoever's at the bottom 2 will go down to where for that.
Yeah. When I like first reacted to her on my reaction, I didn't realize that her thing ignored Kanto control. I thought, oh, this is how it works. So it would go to 2 and then to 1 for range. I see. But, no, I mean, I think she sort of. I don't know whether it was because of her or like she was at the right time, but like nuke meta is back thanks to her, or potentially, yeah. And it's also like the combination of Yunaka and Sakura that's really, really good, because while Sakura is really good at bringing people back, she's not that good at bringing people in to initiate. Whereas like Yunaka has the opposite problem. Like she's really good at getting in, but she can't really get out. And obviously then the two together just like are peak.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely the combination of her and then 3 powerful nukes being released like back to back with, Yunaka, Camilla, and Eirika. But then also like it's all the other things she does that people don't even talk about, right? Like breaking Kanto control is already stupid, but the fact that she is a healer who has access to Ice Lock, right, is crazy. Her new B skill giving out more true damage is crazy, right? Like just all the support she offers on top of that, and then she could even use the Lyn ring and like do a flash support, which is really good right now because sweep effects are really strong at the moment. It's like she kind of just is the full package, you know what I mean? Like there's like nothing she's like terrible at, essentially. Like I guess bulk, like she'll die. There's that, but like she does everything else really well.
Right.
And that's just.
I will say she's one. Like I caved and summoned for legendary Sakura and Yunaka.
It's good
for the 2 months SDR ago. So,
yeah, and I think like even like in Ether Raids when it was Earth season, like oh my god, that was so ridiculously free. I could just bring anyone in and like
actually so free. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. I think chat mostly there's no D tiers.
Yeah. Yeah, 87, 8, and 4. I think that's number 1 now.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes. By 3%. Our queen of toxicity, Sakura. Very much against her own personality, but
yeah.
Okay. Wow. Whoever put C shake. Okay, next up is Duo Sather. I think Duo Sather is like the
precursor.
Yes, to Lyon, and she got a lot more of the flack than she deserved because Lyon was so bad. Like you know what I mean? Like she was good, but you had to like actually know how to use her pretty well because you had to end turn in the same row. Not where Lyon where you just attack, right? Which I think is a big difference.
Right. Don't hurt me. The reason why I consider skipping is that even if she's like super, super strong, I don't think she's a must summon that you needed to summon in order to like reach rank 1 in SDR. That's why I was thinking about it. But anyways, back to Sather. I will say I don't think she's even though like she has the end turn, I don't think she's as toxic as A because there were ways to play around it, I feel. And also the fact that she can't end turn the same unit consistently,
right,
is at least when it comes to SD offers a lot of like a maneuverability around that. ARO obviously that's super strong because like we know how good Mythic is. So yeah,
I think Lyon was really good in Ether Raids. Just no one used him there because like when I used him in Ether Raids, you could essentially like hit and run, kill something, and then go in and like kill the save and then just turn off the whole team with Lyon, right? Like you just get rid of like the duo's hindrance or the duo unit, and like he just turns off the entire team, and then you just take turn like okay, I'll just kill, and he could keep turning off units. Unlike Sather where you have to like time it between odd turns, right? Or no, I guess exactly. not duo Sather. No, duo Sather you could just you said it a different unit. You said a different unit, but I don't think she ever reached the toxicity that that Lyon was at.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. So we got B tier. I'm kind of okay. I mean, that's fine. I think
it's fine. Yeah. So 9, 47, 30, and 12.
Okay.
Yeah, no one used Lyon on Ether 8's offense, which was interesting.
I did, but yeah, it wasn't very many people, to be fair. Right below Chrom. Above Emblem Eirika? No. Okay, no, Emblem Eirika has 41% in A tier. There's no way she's... Yeah. We have to consider that. What about Azura? Or Hector? Hector's 19. Okay. Yeah, so she like be there, I think. No, Marnie has 36. This is the hard part. We're like considering A and B a little bit. Like I always want to put them in the tier chat votes for them, but then when it comes to placement,
New Year's Safe or small chambers. Okay, Mask. Okay. We don't talk about small chambers.
Oh my gosh, the map is just bad, right? Like that's not even.
Yeah,
that's not even like a thing. Okay, I'm gonna put her all with B. Okay. Next up is Seliph, and Seliph was really strong for like a period of time.
Yeah.
You know, one of the first units to really bring back Miracle in a big way. And 4 movement.
And that's the important one.
Yeah.
And like the Miracle at the time, like it made him like not a guarantee that you will be able to kill him back. Which is a really huge deal back then in SD, because if you went in and you couldn't trade back, then you're just doomed, essentially.
Right, exactly. And like, I think the thing that kept him from being like completely crazy was that his Miracle had like a movement condition, so technically like you could...
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But he was very, very powerful. I think his Refine definitely fell a bit flat, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting a resurgence of him, but instead it was just Brave Chrom like all the time.
Yep. Brave Chrom got the better Refine. So I guess it's not that the weakest unit gets the best Refine. It's just the first place male that gets the best Refine, regardless if they're good or not.
It'd be Alphonse then. Ugh, dang it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Maybe Alphonse will actually be good.
We'll see. I don't know what they would have to do. They'd have to like move him away from not being able to double. They'd have to like put like...
They will double his great talent stacks.
Maybe. Yeah. And does it like globally? Global everywhere. Everyone gets global. Stacks.
Yep.
Oh man. Man, I don't really... When I think of toxicity, I don't really think of Brave Seliph personally.
Yeah. I think he's more of a B than an A. Maybe... actually, no. I wouldn't consider it a C. I think B is appropriate. Because I did struggle against Seliph for a bit until I guess I got good.
Yeah, like, I could see him being like either like a high C or like a low B, probably is where I'd put him at.
Yeah.
Okay. He's kind of between the two spots too for chat.
Yeah. So we have 15, 40, 30, 13.
Okay. Below Azura, below Celica, below Duo Lyn, just barely below Duo Lyn. Okay, right there. It's Sigurd time. Everybody knew this was coming. First up, we have Emblem Sigurd, which you have very strong opinions about Emblem Sigurd.
I do, because he sucks. He never killed anything. Like, I don't know how other people are getting their Sigurds to kill anything, but like, he never kills any frontline.
Oh my gosh!
Anything. Like, he's so bad.
Man,
every time I use his team, he has always failed me. Like, it's near 100%.
I think you have like some kind of emblems. Emblems hate you or something. I don't know.
Yeah, emblems just like become physically weaker when I have them somehow. Like, I secretly put that there for FTP players to like get them to spend money, I guess.
Yep. I think he's a pretty strong unit. Toxicity wise, I feel like he's kind of like Felix, where like because he gets that extra action, sometimes he's just out in the open and you just kill him, right? Like he's not like the hardest unit to kill. It's like he can be very powerful like Felix was, but he also like has a key moment of weakness where you can take advantage of it. Unless you do like a blazing special, I guess. But then if you do that, you kind of lose a lot of the range of the AoE and stuff, right? And what makes him really unique. So I do think he is a toxic unit, but I don't think he's like the top of toxicity personally.
Yeah, like definitely like Gallop's very annoying.
Yes.
Yes. But there's a lot of ways to play around that. Again, like pretty much any frontline will be able to tank Sigurd.
Go one.
Yeah. He is Celica was first, right? So Celica was the start of 6 range meta. I guess 6 range melee meta Sigurd was the start of.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, Satoshi.
Everyone's overriding. Okay, well, chat disagrees with us. That's quite the A.
We're spamming override, I see. Alright, 70, 23, 4, and 1.
Okay. Where's that put him at? Right below Edelgard.
Next to Lyn. I guess that's fair.
Right there. Okay. Next up is actually like chat. Legendary Sigurd. One of the most meta-influential units to ever exist, literally. This guy was so cracked. Extra movement was unheard of, barely. Like, you had Legendary Azura, right? And then you have this dude come out and he just gives it to the entire team, which is just beyond crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why the Nott line meta was talked about so much. It wasn't even Nott. Like, Sigurd, even before Nott, like, was still raiding through defenses. Or offenses, sorry.
I mean, not definitely. I mean, not definitely like, you know, giving an extra space of movement to a 4-move cav is definitely, you know, ridiculous. Especially when you had those Nott lines where it was multiple Notts, which, you know, I might have had or not. But you had to be there. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I definitely think he's definitely one of those units. Like, if you experienced it, I feel like you have to admit he was really strong. Like,
yeah. I will say it was very interesting seeing all the weird counters people came up with. Like, I saw Vantage Ray going up against the Sigurd line, which was actually really cool to see and just like completely destroyed
very
Sigurd.
Creative.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. We'll end it there. It's a very obvious A.
Yeah. Although not as high as some of these other units.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, 69, 18, 11, and 0.
At least nobody put him in D. That's good, at least. He's literally 1% below Lyn. Right there. I'm going to actually change radioactive tier, chat. I'm going to put the top 5 because we have so many tier units today.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to keep Innocent Bomb too, though. That way we still have a C tier or a D tier.
Yeah.
Okay, here comes Surtur. I have some hot takes on Surtur because people argue with me whenever I bring this up, but I don't think Surtur was really that toxic. I know that's a hot take, but like, if you were good, this is a fallen Edelgard situation again, where if you were good and you prepared for Surtur, which you should because he was literally everywhere, like you just kill him and then you're like, okay, I move on with my day. Like, and one of the best counters to Surtur was a Versa, and everyone had a Versa on their Aether offense team because she was so strong. Like, you just put Axebreaker on a Versa and you're done. So, like, I don't know. Personally, I never thought he was that toxic.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there, but
right.
This sounds like a fallen Edelgard situation where, like, people literally just threw their, like, unchanged Gen 1 unit and it was like, why doesn't she kill or he kill?
Right.
And then yeah, I forgot, like, hey, this is a game with interacting skills and such, and counterplay and stuff. So, yeah.
Armor Smash of Axe Breakers, a Versa with Axe Breaker. There was so much you could do to get around Surtur. But, like, Surtur was definitely one of the biggest units to get complained about for months. For months and months and months. It was so annoying. Like, they even added, I think it was Spring Paula to hard counter him. Like, with, like, the dagger, the weapon triangle red dagger or whatever. Like, oh my gosh.
Dang.
I mean, that Apocalypse, that's the whole point of like strategy games, isn't it? Like you have a unit that and you build other units to beat them. Like that's literally what strategy is.
Every unit is that. Yeah. You know,
like if I mean I don't know. Like I'm not saying Surtur was like non-existent weak. I'm just saying like he wasn't top tier toxic essentially.
Yeah.
Which I think he's actually pretty split. It's pretty split.
Yeah. Barely even across the board, but it seems like B took it. So we have 21, 35, 28, and 14.
Okay.
That 2-person banner sounds insane. Like
we never got it back again. We never got it back. Far below Elm. Elm's an idea. Who's close? That. Lyn Duo. Above Lyn Duo. Where's Celica at? Okay, he's right there. He's between the two of them. Okay. Next up is Thrasir. This unit's interesting.
This one's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, this one's interesting because like Thrasir was definitely one of the first Aether Raid's defense units that actually did anything. Like Duma and Yune were so bad on release, it was crazy. Like it took a long time for Duma to start actually doing things. And so Thrasir showed up, and she's just like this amazing nuke, and she completely kills the dragon meta. The dragon meta just dies. Like, like goodbye Noe, goodbye Tikis and stuff. Like she just completely annihilates them. Now was that toxic? I don't know if that was toxic, but she was definitely very powerful at least at release.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's toxic. Just like a super powerful unit,
right?
That you just not use dragons. You use like Brave Ike, for example. So yeah, I guess I agree. I wouldn't. I mean, I wasn't there during peak Thrasir days.
Right.
Dragons never recovered since, by the way. Yeah, dragons never get anything.
Okay,
since,
shut up. Oh my gosh. These freaking dragon apologist.
We need to get KCB in here. The next dragon apologist.
Duma's better now that he's not okay. I mean, is he better than he's on release? I don't know. I mean, like honestly, you need to break safety fence, so maybe Duma is better now.
We need like a Duma. Again, that like breaks all offense structures. That's what we need to save Aether Raids.
You were convinced she was never good? No, Thrasir was definitely very good. She had very high speed. Her preference B skill gave more speed. She was very good at release. She was easily one of the best defense mythics, if not the best defense mythic for a while. Was that I don't think it was toxic necessarily, but I definitely do think she was strong. Okay.
All right. So it seems like Chad agrees she's not toxic, just strong. So 3, 15, 30, and 50.
Okay. She might actually be the lowest.
Is she innocent? This would truly be an Oblivion stream to have an innocent person that's a dragon killer.
No, she's above Micaiah.
Okay.
Barely, but she is. Okay, we got Brave Veronica. Now, if you weren't there, chat, you probably don't remember this. But Brave Veronica was cancer. And the reason why was because no one could counter against her. There was no NCD. And so literally how I hit rank 6 in Astra season before we had Astra Mythics was that I ran a team that had Veronica and Brave Lyn on it, and no one could counter against it. And you just walled yourself in, like kind of like at the bottom of the map. And then you had a trap, and then they would just go out, and they would just hit you. And if they try to approach you, they would stand on a bolt trap, and then bolt trap would like, do all their health. So, like back in the day, Brave Veronica was so much more powerful than any other healer in the game. It was ridiculous, and she couldn't be countered against. So you had to play her phaser, and she made the rest of your team stronger too. She was such a great unit when Aether Raids first came out. She was so good. The first 3 months.
Yeah, I guess she was like the third horse apocalypse after Ryan and Brave Lyn.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I wasn't there, but like I've heard of the legendary Brave Veronica, mainly from I forgot what his name is. The person that does the skits, Bismix, I think, or something.
Oh, Bismix. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Apparently, Brave Veronica was like super powerful, probably for the reasons you said.
Yeah, she was definitely really, really strong. It was a short period of time, like it was like 3 or 4 months, and then we got Nyla. But even then with Nyla, like it was very limited NCD. You would like essentially pull for Nyla and then sack Nyla immediately. Jim with a 5. Oh my gosh, Jim. To be honest, Legendary Male Corden should be listed. Bro is so bad that he is literally toxic trash that you're supposed to throw in a biohazard waster pit. Oh my god, Jim. That is so based. So based. Corden's bad for your health. Oh man, that's too funny. Thank you so much, Jim. Oh. DTM, did you mute yourself? I don't know. Okay, we lost DTM. Okay, let's end the poll there. We got 31, 39, 15, 13.
Sorry, I had to quickly see someone at the door. But
oh no, you're good. You're good. Okay. Right here. So below Azura. Like right there. Okay. And our final unit of the tier list is Yunaka.
Ooh. I'm curious.
Yeah, this is also a bit of a recency bias pick. Mm-hmm. I do think this unit is very strong. Like, she just has so many things that let her warp. It's crazy. Like, she essentially has like no warp condition almost. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. I think for me personally, it's the combination of her and Sakura that is very, very powerful. Because, like, if it wasn't for Sakura, she would probably have the same problem as Emblem Celica in that you just warp in and then just be stuck there to die.
Right.
But yeah, with Sakura, her effective 6 range is kind of insane.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And, you know, built-in Brave weapon, too. Like, geez, like... Does so much damage. And, like, she also has pretty versatile builds, like, with the Miracle build and, like, Lethality build, too.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can either choose Speed Taker or Wind Sweep, Water Sweep even, if Rhea is the only save. I think you generally just run Fatal Smoke. For the sea, there's not really like as many deviations, but
yeah. Definitely pretty strong yet.
Stage defense would be like actually above the top 5.
It'd be above radioactive, yeah.
Yeah. It would be like
Brave
Chernobyl or something.
Do you think Brave Chrom's a toxic unit? I never considered him a toxic unit.
Brave Chrom is not a toxic unit. I will not stand for the slander.
I don't know. If enough chat thinks he's toxic, we can put him on the list, but I don't think he is. Okay. Well, this is looking pretty convincing in A here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we have 53, 36, 6, and 3.
Okay. Where it puts her at.
Brave Ike on release? I'm pretty sure Brave Ike was not toxic on release.
Brave Ike on release? Brave Ike wasn't even that good on release.
Yeah.
He was like okay. Where's Heidr at?
No Panet for literally breaking the game. I mean, that's more of a bug, right? So
no Panet. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, we can now assign our bottom tier and our top tier. So with bottom tier, we have Thrasir and Micaiah being removed from toxicity list. They are not toxic units. They are completely innocent.
They're just innocent.
They're innocent, yes. And then top of 5, our most toxic unit in Fire Emblem Heroes ever, according to chat, is Legendary Sakura. And then 2 snakes, then Lyon, and then Edelgard. Fallen Edelgard just barely making it in there. Oh, man.
People still have, I guess, PTSD or something against Fallen Edelgard. Because, like, there's no way I would put her, like, in the top 5. Maybe, like,
I I don't think I'd
democracy failed us.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have her at the top. I mean, personally, I don't think I'd have a few units in A tier 2. I'd probably remove Catria, Camilla for sure. I'd put Unaklik in B. I'd put Elimine in Innocent 100%. So
okay.
Yeah. But fuck the snakes. Yeah. Okay. I upped it from 3 to 5 because there's so many A tiers. I didn't expect Jack to fill the entire 2 rows of A tier. So I was expecting only to do 3. But, you know, because personally,
I guess this makes sense from the player base. Like, every unit is toxic, right? You know?
Emblem Martha's left out because there's no way. You cannot. No one thinks Emblem Martha's toxic. Like, that's crazy copium. Like, I don't even know. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Is there any? I think the other units. Is there any units you'd promote?
I don't think I'd promote any units. I'd only Dima because I do think like it's very top heavy.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I'd promote Emblem Eirika. I think she's at least an A.
Oh yeah. Emblem Eirika would be the one. I didn't see her for a second. Maybe Azura.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, I wasn't there, but I've heard.
I think
stories.
so, yeah. I think I'd probably promote Azura too.
Yeah, do those 2, and then demote like, Ike, demo Camilla.
Yeah.
Demo Catria. Demo all the emblems because they all suck. Yeah.
Tuna said the one time that Edelgard gets a win when it comes to a voting gauntlet. Wow.
Wow. Okay.
She can only win when it's bad. Oh man! If we included rings, including rings makes it a lot more difficult. That's a more nuanced opinion than a tier list I think can really represent. List any release heroes? I mean, Reinhardt's the closest to a release hero, right? I don't think anyone else on like Hector really wasn't toxic. He was just kind of strong, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is gonna be our chat. Oh, let me do this real quick. 1 second, chat. I need to bring up Faye. And then we can have everyone put in some people you want as my lead, and we'll do that, and then we can end.
Yes.
So go ahead and give us some options.
Suggestions?
And Suna, you can pick one, and we'll just put that one in automatically.
Yeah.
For the vote. But any ideas? We could even do some of the toxic units if you guys want.
Marnie.
Oh my god.
Oh, let's do Marnie.
Oh god. Yeah. Wait, who said Marnie? Mask? Okay, that's fine.
Mask and Don't Hurt Me. Yeah.
Of course, there's those two.
We can't do Elm. He doesn't have Elm.
I have Elm. I got Elm.
Oh wait, you got Elm?
I got Elm. Yeah. It was not. Yeah, it was bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see.
Sin! Fallen Edelgard is up there because she really wiped out the viability of using favorites, in my opinion. People played for more fun than competition back then.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think I agree with that.
Yeah. Like, people were using their faves to beat up Fallen Edelgards, too, back then.
Okay, I see lots of Elms. I see some Marnies. We'll put those two. We get one more.
Is Suna still here?
I don't know if Suna's still here or not. This shows that Edelgard is a good villain, not a hero. Man, Eric. Man, you know.
All right, where's the ban button?
I don't see anything from Suna. So I'm gonna put in Bunny Xander. Okay, I see Sakura, Nidhogger, Fallen Edelgard. Let's do Fallen Edelgard because that's kind of funny because we're doing the toxic list.
Mm-hmm.
And who else is on the toxic list? I guess we could do Sakura. We'll do a toxic.
Yeah, I guess we'll do Sakura.
Toxic playoff. Sakura is the ultimate villain. True. We actually didn't know this, but in Fates, the entire time Sakura was pulling all the strings. It wasn't an Onkos.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Sakura's in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Did I rank Yuri? Is Yuri toxic? Oh, that's kind of an interesting one. Maybe I should have added Yuri. No one brought that up when I was asking. No one actually. I guess we can add Yuri. We'll do that after real quick. Oh, there's Suna. Suna, do you want to add somebody?
Yeah, vote for Marnie because
No.
she's like number 2 in Oblivion's favorite after Hortensia.
No. Yuri was meta, but was Yuri toxic? That's the question, right?
I mean, I guess if we put Eirika on, like you can put Yuri on.
Duo Rhea? Okay, we can start it over real quick. I'll take off Sakura. Yeah. I'm sure everybody will look the same anyway, though.
Yeah.
Okay, Duo Rhea, Elm, Marnie, and Fallen Edelgard. Okay. Elm is my number 3 favorite. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Apocalypse.
Everyone vote Marnie.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah. We'll do Yuri, sure. I don't think Yuri will get very high, to be honest, but we can do that.
Yeah, we can do it real quick.
Yeah, it won't take long. Why didn't we rank Launch Takumi? Because Launch Takumi wasn't really toxic. He was just strong. Like the same as Hector, right? They were both strong units, but they weren't really toxic. Now you're good.
And also, like, he dropped off very quickly after.
Takumi fell off really hard. Hector stayed around for a while.
Yeah.
And Oblivion changed his name to Sesame Street. I don't think I am rank 1 right now. Well, I guess I haven't lost yet, technically. But
that reminds me. I need to check.
I haven't played. Have you done? A 2 Micaiah is not toxic, guys. There's no way. Chrom is not toxic either. There's no way. I don't think Chrom was toxic at all. She was not even like she was okay.
I just lost rank 1 because of an Elm player.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh.
This is our life now.
I mean, once again, it's power versus toxicity, right? Like power is a separate thing. Because if we did power, we'd have to put a lot more units on this list. Way more. Okay, Marty's winning. Okay, let's see. I don't even know where's she at? Oops. Let's see. Did I throw her into the groups? I might have.
I can't imagine you throwing that in the groups.
I probably did. I don't like seeing her. There she is. Yep. She's in the reserves of reserves. Yeah, she would actually help my
chats. We managed to bring out Oblivion's secret favorite character.
Oh my gosh. So. This is why I can't have DTM on streams. No.
Win for the stream.
Yeah, I'll do that. And then while that's going, we will rank Yuri as our final vote of the night.
Yep.
Personally, I think he's maybe a C or a B at the highest. Like maybe peak toxicity before cancer control, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Toxicity is when I lose to a unit. That's the perfect explanation, Andres. I think that's actually
true. Yeah.
I had to spend grails for Marnie. Oh man, I don't know about that. Yuri was such an enabler. Is Legendary Fae toxic?
True?
I don't think so, personally.
Yeah. I don't know. I think. I mean, Yuri was. I feel like only really a problem during Flash of Steel seasons, and then back when he was in his heyday, but even then, the most saves could relatively tank him. I think, if I remember correctly.
I mean, he could kill Hector. Like you just said, it was all about timing your lethality correctly.
Right.
New month starts at reset.
Oh yeah, the training tower quests and all that quests and all that sort of stuff.
Right. Yeah, unfortunately, Legendary.
I need to finish flying training tower 10 quests.
Oh, you haven't done? Yeah, go do all your quests, DTF.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll end it there. It looks like a low B tier for Yuri.
Yeah. So we have 11, 41, 39, 6.
Okay. Okay. Below Marnie, below Nott. Or Celica. Below Celica. Below Duolin. About Lif. Never find Lif. It disappeared into the ether. Okay. What about Satyr?
I don't think Dual Thor is toxic.
Right above. Okay.
Yeah.
Right here. Okay. That is going to be our final toxicity tier list. She had poison dagger. Squid, stop. Stop. This is our final tier list. So our top 5 right there. Pretty big A tier. Pretty big D B tier too. I'm actually surprised how few units ended down here. But I guess when you pick the most toxic units out of 1,200, I guess that tends to happen, right?
I guess, yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining me, DTM. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad that we.
Happy to always be on. Yeah,
yeah, definitely. We'll be doing more of these.
To express my frustrations and be a huge defender for Freyr. We are huge Freyr defenders here.
No, it's just DTM. But yeah, we're gonna be ending stream. I think I'm gonna do a duo harmonic tier list next week. I'm gonna try to do that. So definitely come check that out. Make sure to subscribe to me and DTM so you don't miss any of our content, including my genealogy crash outs, because you definitely want to see that as well.
Oh my gosh, they're so funny. Like, if you want to experience Oblivion being so angry at moving units from one end of the map to the other in 1.5 hours, like, do join. It's
man,
great content.
Like popping veins, literally. But yeah, everyone have a great night. Bye.
Bye.